of being in a room of like a bunch of creators and hearing someone go, I am in a room with one of my biggest inspirations for dancing right now. I don't know how to feel. And then me hearing that and not knowing they're talking about me until they specifically like point out like that it's me that they're talking about. And how I was that link that made them start dancing or get into VR or create their own model or something like that. And it just feels good.
변한 건 없어 but need to change 조금만 천천히라 change your pace 지나간 미래 다 illusion 시간이 어긋나도 love is same 결국 다 이어져 있어 벌써 남는 방법이 없어도 엉켜버린 네 공간 속에서 we're gonna be fine yeah you and I don't want a broken heart 항상 너와 난 끌려봐 더 멀어져도 더 밀어내도 그 달리로 이어지는 지금 우리 사이 Sometimes 변한 게 없어 보이진 않아 내가 느끼는 걸 너도 느껴 나의 기억 being with you wondering if you are thinking about me too no 결국 다 연결돼 있어 벌써 나는 방법이 없어도 엉켜버린 네 시간 속에서 we're gonna be fine yeah you and I don't want a broken heart 항상 너와 난 끌려봐 더 멀어져도 더 밀어내도 그 달리로 이어지는 지금 우리 사이 어디서든 I can have you 빈 공간은 여긴 없어 너만 아는 나의 space time feel the space 어디서든 I can have you 빈 공간은 여긴 없어 너만 아는 나의 space time feel the space I don't want a broken heart 항상 너와 난 끌려봐 더 멀어져도 더 밀어내도 그 달리로 이어지는 지금 우리 사이 우리 사이 그 달리로 이어지는 지금 우리 사이
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Sweet Talking Podcast with your hostess, Nepherti. And I'm joined tonight by probably one of the best, if not the best, VR choreograph dancer on VRChat, Xenstroke, otherwise known as Zen. And of course, I know Zen's going to be very, very humble. I already know this. But I honestly have, it is really hard to find anyone. I've never seen anyone who can learn choreographed dances as succinctly and as fast as Zen. So this is really, really, this is going to be such a pleasure to kind of get into and to have a chat with Zen tonight. I really am looking forward to all of that and more tonight. And I hope you guys are looking forward to it too. So as per usual, I want to let you guys know that if you enjoyed tonight's podcast, obviously, please, continue to support. I want to quickly thank my patrons before we get into tonight's episode. Thank you so much to my patrons. Really, really appreciate you guys' support. So thank you so very much. Yeah. So tonight, we're going to be diving into a ton of information regarding Zen and what they do, the things that they're into, the things that makes them who they are, and we're going to be really digging in deep because I know many of you are very, very curious to find out what Zen is all about, and many people don't know too much about Zen. So I think tonight's going to be quite the treat. So sit tight, and I hope you enjoy tonight's podcast. So Zen, how goes it? How you doing?
It goes. I'm still exhausted from the video, even after a day later. But
yeah, I bet. So that was a really amazing dance. Honestly, that was like I said, that was very, very impressive, extremely impressive. Like, it's always impressive to see how fast you learn choreographed dances. That wasn't that one that you created. You basically learned a dance in a matter of 2-3 days. Learn the entirety of it.
So that song came out over the weekend, and on Monday they posted the stage performance version of it, and then on basically last night it was that.
Okay.
I'd say at least 3-4 hours each day since it went up on Monday.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean that is just very impressive, and you were kind of showing me the process. You were showing me how you're learning it day by day, which is again super impressive to see. But we will get into your history of dance. We'll get into all of that stuff very, very soon later on in the podcast. But for now, I would like to just have everyone get a sense of who you are. So who is Xenstroke? And also, just for people who are unfamiliar, what pronouns do you go by, just for people who may not be sure?
Any they, them. I'm not very super particular. They, them works anywhere.
Nice. Okay. So yeah, let's kind of just get into and jump into a little description of who you are, what you're about. How would you describe yourself to someone who wanted to know, just kind of the overview of your general bio of who you are. So if you can dive into that, that'd be fantastic.
So I guess at base level, I'm a dog on the internet that likes to dance. But beyond that, I am a 2D, 3D artist. So I like to draw and work on my model, or just model things in general. Beyond that, I like what most people like. Playing video games, cartoons, a lot of things. So some cartoons that shows more than others. I can talk anyone's ear off about kaijus and Tokusatsu all day. So
nice. Okay. Anything else that's kind of burning in your mind?
I don't know. It's pretty base level of just who I am. I just I'm a vibe. I'm not very excitable energy. I have energy when it comes, but I'm very chill most of the time.
Yeah, and I imagine you're very chill most of the time because you're putting all of your energy into dancing all the time. And you're also
you gotta go somewhere, right?
Yeah, you're a very kind of relaxed, chill individual, but at the end, all of that, what would be very loud, off the wall, me, that all goes into dancing. That's all expressed there, it seems like.
Yeah, I have been asked many times where I get the energy from, and I honestly don't know.
It's that creative energy. I think people who do creative content like you and me, I think a lot of people in the chat can relate. We have this burning desire to just create, and we don't know where it comes from. It's some people call it a muse. Some people say it's just it's something like a divine energy that kind of just flows through people who are of the creative propensity, has that drive to create, and it just kind of comes. It's there, and we don't know how, but it's just there. It's very, very fascinating to really kind of think about, which I actually do want to ask you a little bit more about, just like who you are before we jump into like VRChat stuff, because we usually do VRChat stuff in the beginning. So I do want to know, so have you always been this demure, I guess calm, relaxed, chill? Have you always been this way?
For as long as I can remember, yeah. I think it stems from not being confrontational. At first, I just it kind of grew from there, and there's not enough energy inside of me to really be like mad or whatever. Everyone just wants a vibe. Everyone likes the chill Sunday, so just relax.
Okay, so like this has been your personality for as long as you can remember.
Yeah.
Okay, and I do like to ask these questions, but I'm going to ask the questions that people typically would not ask because they're nervous or they're afraid of what'll happen if they ask. It's my job to ask these questions, so that's what I'm going to do. So, your pronouns are they them, or any, as you mentioned. So has that I guess how long has that been the case for you? Has it always been that way for you, or did you go through any sort of changes to reach that conclusion?
At least a couple years or so. Like there was always like an inkling of something, like over time. But as I got older and found out more information, it just you gradually figure it out. And so like I hit a point where it was just like, after stepping back and looking, it was just like, you know what, I'm gender fluid. I don't really know exactly how I'm gonna wake up every day, and that's basically it. And then I'm still learning. There are many things I still don't know, but as far as how I understand about myself, that's where I stand.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's perfectly fair. I think everyone should be exactly who they find themselves to be. How they identify is not for anyone else to define. It's something that they experience within themselves. I know this very well. I won't get into why, but I know that very, very well. So, in your case, like, can you paint us a little bit of a picture of what it's like to be gender fluid? And I mean, can you actually, before you get into that, can you share kind of like a timeline of like when you were younger and you're kind of figuring things out, and then kind of like how you got to where you are now? Because I don't know how old you are. You're more than welcome to share that if you'd like, but I mean, it's totally up to you.
I am on the door of 30. I passed through 30 this year. So.
Oh wow! Congrats! You've made it. You've made it like a third of the way. Perhaps more, even. Who knows? With the future that we're living right now, it could be much longer than that. But yeah. Can you like paint us like a timeline of like how you reached that conclusion? Because I think that's interesting from like a psychological perspective, and I think people will be very interested to kind of like get a better idea of like what shaped you and what kind of brought you to that personal understanding of yourself.
I guess if we go back far enough, like there was always like that baseline, this might be too far, but like, these toys are for boys, these are for girls. But I always hung around like, my female cousins, and we kind of just like intermix, like playing and everything. And it just kind of, that line that existed back then kind of didn't exactly exist for a while. And it just kind of blurred it. So I think that's where the start of it was, where it's just like, one day we're chucking around our Hot Wheels. The next, we're riding on the Barbie camper type of deal. And, growing up, you still go through like, I wasn't really into like things typical. Like I didn't get into sports. I'm not exactly a sports person, but I did like, the arts and drawing and, things that were less physical and more like on the mind type of deal. And it just kind of grew from there, especially after like I left and went to college and met more people. And you meet more people, you find things in common, you find things you don't have in common, you learn. And I just gradually found out that I like feminine things a lot of the time. Long, like I grew my hair. I like having my hair long. I like different forms of clothing. It's just, it kind of works that way. I do have my days where I do wake up and I'm like, I don't feel feminine at all, and I just don't. But as of lately, it's been pushing more on the feminine side.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for kind of like walking us through that. I think it's helpful for many people to have a better sense of like a person's journey, because like life all in all is a journey, and we have to we go through different things, we experience, we have different influences. There's a whole lot of nurture, but there's also a whole lot of nature as well. Things that we can't even explain about ourselves. So it's really cool to kind of understand that better about you. So thank you for sharing that. And to continue that topic, if you don't mind, can you explain your personal experience of being gender fluid? I guess what does that mean to you, as you currently are?
Dude, how to explain that? Like, so waking up every morning, it's one of those moments of like, where is my headspace? Like, do I want to grab the pink Powerpuff Girl shirt? I don't actually have, but like I'm just using it as an example.
Yeah.
Or do I want to grab like the flannel and baggy jeans and go that route? And it's just like first instinct, like just like I feel like this today, and that's how it is. And outside of that, it's I wouldn't say a lot of things change mentally outside of just like how I feel initially. The rest of the day goes by just fine. And in part, I think it does kind of influence like when I'm dancing, like the type of dances I do, the type of songs I listen to. But at baseline, I'm still just me. At the end of the day, it is like I roll the dice, okay, and then that's the day.
Okay. So would you say that your experience as gender fluid is more dependent on what you are, how you look, like physically, or is it more of a mental thing, or both?
How I feel influences how I look.
Okay, so okay, go ahead.
Ooh, it's hard to put. How do I put this one to words? Standing at a crossroads, do I shave or do I not shave? It's like one of the baselines. Like, do I want to, is it a makeup day? Is it not a makeup day? Is it, tight jeans and t-shirts? Or, it's just the initial, like, I took this turn today, and that's where we're at. Like, the mental state influences the appearance, and that's how the days go.
Okay, gotcha.
I am not good at explaining feelings. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I think a lot of people struggle with putting the feelings into words, but that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here to help you think about yourself in a way that you probably haven't done in a while or at all. So that's the benefit of being on my podcast. So I hope that's cool, because we're gonna be doing a lot of that.
All right.
Cool. So all right. So based on what you've said, I think that makes perfect sense. But obviously, like, you have your whole experiences. You decide based on your feeling how you're going to present, how you're going to share yourself with the world, essentially, in whatever way that you choose. So can you tell us a little bit about how that has perhaps affected the people that you interact with, or the experiences that you've had with people? have you like maybe something good, something not so good that maybe happened? If hopefully it's all good. I hope it's all good. But yeah.
I'm very particular with like my immediate vicinity of people I interact with from day to day. I mean, outside of work, like you can't really control like things that you can't control, but like my inner circles of friends and things, everyone's super supportive. Everyone has their niches, their like how they are, how they feel. I have several trans friends, several that are also gender fluid, and having conversations, being like, oh, how did you solve the whole like sizing issue, because God, is clothing hard to buy sometimes. And things like that. So I as long as it's just there's a supporting group around me like almost always, and it's just always positive, and I really appreciate everyone. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely makes a difference when you have support systems, when you have people who are being understanding. Not only people who are similar to you, but even people who aren't, who may be outside of your experience of how you identify yourself to be. Having that kind of support is always super, super helpful. So I'm glad you have that kind of support system. And that it sounds like everything has been mostly good. And I'm not trying to stir any drama or anything.
The scale is definitely weighted in the positives.
Fantastic.
Not to say the negatives don't happen, but like you attract what you emit.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you give off positive energy, you attract positive people. I've certainly been very much a beneficiary of meeting a lot of positive people, which is really a lot of them have been on my podcast actually. So I've been very, very lucky to meet some really, really wonderful people. But yeah, you're right. The people that the energy that you give off it will attract the people that you want to attract. If you're miserable all the time, people are gonna think that you're miserable and not want to be around you. You're gonna attract miserable people. Mm-hmm. So totally get that. Cool. So with that in mind, I think I do want to, I was certainly hoping that there was perhaps maybe something that has like occurred to kind of lead you to be like the kind of like very calm and collected individual that you are now. I was kind of hoping there was something else there. That's something else happened.
As far as I know, growing up, I was always the quiet kid who was just like off to himself. When my mom would go to my grandma's to get her hair done, I was always in the corner with the container full of the hair rollers, just messing with them or what have you. I wasn't really like rambunctious or anything. So it kind of just went from there. Okay. It's definitely, there was a time where I did try to be like more outward and louder and energetic, and it didn't work. It just made me tired.
I see. Like what? So what? But what was that like? What was that like? Like,
I felt like I was trying too hard.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like it didn't feel natural.
Nah, no, it definitely didn't. And if it wasn't feeling like that to me, I'm pretty sure like anyone I knew or who knew me would know I was faking it and would ask me if I'm okay.
Yeah, I get you. All right, cool. All right, awesome. Yeah, I find how people's mind works. I find that very, very interesting. So I had to ask the questions. So, let me see. I have a question. I do have a question.
Go for it.
Has your, well, I don't know like where you align on the on your heritage per se. I don't know where you align, but has anything from where you've come from, or the way you've grown up and the people you've been surrounded by, like your family and such, has any of that influenced like how you are as an individual? Like obviously I don't want to draw assumptions, but like based on like how you grew up and like the kind of atmosphere that you grew up in, has that been like has that like influenced you in any shape or form?
Yeah, I'd say it really has. I mean, a lot. Music has been, especially on my dad's side, music's just like a major part of my dad's side. It kind of bled over. Like Cajun heritage is on that side, and all that. And then we have on my end, growing up, I listened to, thanks to my grandmother, a lot of Motown stuff, and gradually grew into like to what we have now, just over the years. But my baseline I started was around the Motown era of music, and that definitely influenced like my choice of sounds growing up.
Okay. Cool.
I'm way broader now. I definitely have
well, I mean, clearly, based on like the music that you do your choreographing to, obviously you've branched out, but you gotta know your roots. It's good to kind of know that. But I thought, because like music appears to be like a very big part of your life, obviously, I thought maybe I'd ask maybe if that is played a part in things that you've done, choices that you've made. And I think that's I think it's important to just kind of know. So I asked. Yeah. Cool. So you have a Cajun background, and is that like pure, like mostly predominantly Cajun?
Everyone on my dad's side of the family who are predominantly from Louisiana. That huge chunk is from there. Many cousins play Zydeco for various like places, bars, events, and being able to go and listen to live music basically whenever I wanted, because it was almost always happening. It was nice.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds nice. It sounds like a nice place to grow up, a nice atmosphere to grow up in, where people are lively and music is abundant. I think all of our lives would be a lot less interesting, a lot less bright and colorful if we did not have music. So
I would be depressed if music wasn't a thing.
Yeah, I think the reason why music came to be is because people realized that they needed something to kind of like quell that sense of like emptiness. Like they need something to kind of express themselves rather than just speaking. And obviously I don't know the history, but clearly like a lot of people like yourself would be very depressed if music wasn't like music didn't exist. Yeah. I would be too, for sure. Yeah. All right, cool. So yeah, that was really fun. It was nice to kind of get like a sense of like who you are, what you're about, where you come from, and just kind of like paint a clearer picture of Zen. 'Cause I think a lot of people wanted to know. I wanted to know. So yeah. So that's great. So now we can get into the VRChat stuff. Kind of like the baseline. Of how we kind of start things off with the podcast. So tell us about getting into VRChat. What was that like for you? When did you start playing VRChat, and why did you stay?
So March 10th of 2021 was the first day of me having my index. After at least a couple months of like talking with various friends who have had the different types of VR systems, and like I was all like everything I looked up pointed towards, if you wanted to get in VR and you're going to like upgrade to like more trackers and stuff later, just go ahead and shoot for the index, get the base stations and everything, and then go from there. And I was luckily right after income tax, so I had all of that to do for that. And around that also same time was like right after I moved into my apartment by myself. So I had this apartment to myself, which means I could dedicate a room to just that. And that was the first day on the 10th of March was the first day in VR.
That's wild that you remember
made
that.
Made a VRM. Yeah, I had made a quick VRM just to log in and spent the day getting used to having this on my face. Made me sick at first, like, very sick at first, but you gradually grow out of it the more you use it. And then from there, I'd say it was when I really started meeting like my initial friend groups and things, and eventually I wanted to have like my own personal avatar because it just seemed fun to have my own thing outside of just like a pre-made VRM that I just quickly put together. And I had some 3D knowledge from back in college, and I figured out how to make a baseline just kind of avatar to use, which was my first ever venture into doing that, which was fun. And now we are on version 4 of said model 2.5 years later.
Yeah, that is quite some time. So March 10th, 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And so why did you end up staying? Like, you said you were convinced by your friends to jump into that. Like, what exactly did they tell you that made you want to dive into this brand new technology?
Well, it wasn't exactly what they told me to get in. And around that time was when like a bunch of creators were like doing various silly videos or like showing off the various different worlds that people were making at the time, and I just wanted to check it out. And I could have logged on in desktop mode and started there, but I wanted to try VR because it seemed like fun, and it has been. I have no complaints.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. And also on the point of feeling sick at first, I don't really experience motion sickness, but the first time that I was in VRChat, yep, I was.
Yeah. The first time I jumped over a railing, I was like, oh, oh.
But I mean, like, actually, like you got over it. But like, I've seen you in like the Valhalla bar world. Like, you were actually like not like, you have moments where you can actually like get like motion sick.
Oh yeah, no. If enough things mess with my senses enough, I'm hitting the floor.
Yeah.
That's just the thing. Like sound and visual cues. If my vision goes super blurry and like I get hard to hear things and it's just like noise, my equilibrium's gone.
Okay, yeah. It's but in general speaking, like just being in VR now is like a walk in a park, which I would imagine would be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same for me.
I've gone from at most being like, I've been in for an hour and I can't take it anymore to if I push it, I can be online for at least 8.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And that's only because the controllers die at that point.
Right. And like that is literally the only reason why I end up like logging out myself. It's always the controllers, unfortunately. But I totally feel that. I spent a good bit of time in VR now. And I love it. It's great. It's a wonderful experience. It's a great way to kind of like see things and see like different spaces that you normally would never have a chance to explore, because people are super fucking brilliant and create really cool things.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why did you end up staying in the end?
Friends. I think that's the baseline. Like, I know so many people now, and they're all wonderful people. They're a blast to be around, and it's just, I want to hang out with them all the time. And I know I can't, but when I can, I want to. So that's how that happens. Mm-hmm. It's so much fun hanging out with everyone, and we meet new people, and the energy just flows. Yeah, I love everybody.
Yeah, you definitely give off a very like, you're like, I don't know, like, forgive me if I'm mistaken, but you seem very, very friendly. Mm-hmm. You're very friendly, but you're also.
I try not to be. I try not to be like antagonistic. I give everyone a chance. I'm positivity at base. You know, I'll be nice. Please be nice back. but don't test me.
Yeah, exactly. And which is like that's my policy too. You know, like people think just because, I got a cute face and booba, they can just treat me however they want. That's not the case. That's not how it works. No. So I get you. I get
you. Shut them down real quick.
Hell fucking yeah. So yeah, like basically like you seem very introverted is what I was getting at. So like you're okay with meeting new people, and despite meeting new people, like you can still be friendly, and does your introversion get in the way? Because again, you seem very friendly, but like how many people is too many people?
It all depends. There are certain people in my friend group where I can just, like, no matter like how many of them are around, I'm fine. But there have been points where the social battery is like, you need to get out or move or something. You've used up all of your luster. Time for you to take a step back, walk away, cool it. So like a lot of times, if you ever see that happen, like if it's a large gathering or something, I'll either move off to the side where there's like maybe one or two other people, or I might just temporarily leave for a little bit. Just because I get overwhelmed, which has happened a couple times. That I'm not exactly proud of it happening, but I sometimes you just have to leave.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone will fault you for that. I think a lot of people are like that. Like, people have to remember that introverted people get their energy from being away from people, and extroverted people get their energy from being around people. So I think anyone who's actually a real friend would be aware and not like hold it against someone for leaving. Like I've even done that before. Like, because like I know I'm sure a lot of people assume that I'm extroverted. I am a trained extrovert. I've trained myself to be this way. I'm actually an introvert, and I prefer being by myself more times than not. I prefer one-on-ones. That's why people see me in VRChat. I'm always by myself or with someone else or just one other person. It's very rare. It has to be for a very specific reason that you see me in a public, or not public, but in a group of people.
In a group setting.
Yeah, group setting. Yeah. It's very, very like, it's not common for me. And like that's just kind of like from spending time in VRChat and meeting new people and just having a really kind of really awesome group of people that you come to know and that you can trust and hang out with, without having to be around like in a public world, for example.
Right. Yeah.
So speaking of public worlds, do you when did you first when did you kind of like eschew public worlds? Because everyone does it. Like after a certain amount of time, you just don't go to public worlds anymore. So like when did that happen for you?
I don't know exactly when it happened, like date wise. But I can tell you that it was when I got tired of racism. when my social battery was like, do you really want to risk the casual racist or the furry character hater to get in your face and yell? And sure, you control them for a little while, but that's just gonna bring your mood down. And so why don't you just log on and go join the people that you'll have fun with? I do from time to time like just go into a public if I know someone that's also in said public. Rarely do I just go by myself because I need a tether.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Oh yeah. To kind of manage your manage your expectations, and also like kind of keep your mood equalized. Like you have someone there who's going to give you positive energy no matter what. So it's I imagine that's very, very helpful to have in public worlds. Like I could talk.
You never know when it's just gonna turn into Space Australia.
What is Space Australia?
I'll tell you later.
Okay. All right. Apparently, that's something that can't be said on camera. Okay. I'll hear it from you, but then I'll also have to ask Ziggy, or Cookie maybe. But in any case.
Yes, I'm right here.
Yeah. In any case, but yeah, I mean that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Like going to public worlds can be really really exhausting. It's something I did for a very long time, but I don't do anymore, obviously. So can you name one thing about VRChat that you really like, and one thing about VRChat that you really wish could change?
Oof. One thing that I really like, that's hard to narrow it down to one, because I'm an explorer when it comes to worlds. Like if you've looked on my Twitter, I constantly retweet very pretty aesthetic worlds. A lot of my friends will tell you they'll find me, if I'm not in a dance studio, I'm at some pretty looking world. I just like the creativity aspect of just the entire community as a whole. I think that's a major plus for VRChat and VR in general. Like the community-driven created content is phenomenal.
I agree. And something you wish could improve or change?
Improve or change? That's a question I don't really think about all that often.
Because you avoid confrontation.
Been really doing well about. Yeah, they've been doing really well about like, updating the game for the users lately, and so like I can't really. My criticisms are not criticisms anymore.
That's fair.
So much. Nah, I can't really, because of how I cater the space around me. I don't have an answer for you on the negative end.
Okay.
So much.
Well, I mean, that's actually fine. It's actually good that you put it that way, because you said because you've tailored your experience to be a certain way. So I think it's important for people who may be unfamiliar with VRChat to know that, like, and when you start to use this platform, you engage with it in a certain way. You involve yourself with various people. It feels like, it doesn't feel like a social experience when you first try VRChat. It feels like I'm trying this game out for the first time and I don't know what the hell it's going to be like. It's foreign, strange.
It can be overwhelming.
Yeah, very very overwhelming, and like you don't know what to do sometimes. You don't even know what to expect, because it's just there's so much to kind of take in. So like I think it's good that you've said that you cater your personal experience towards the idea of like how you experience VRChat is how you experience VRChat. And like if you want to avoid, racist idiots, you can avoid racist idiots. If you want to just hang out with your friends, you can do that. If you want to hang out in a particular group of people, you can create a group for yourself. If you want to, have a one-on-one, you can do that. Yeah, it's a very much an experience that could be catered towards you, and I think it's important to kind of like drive that point home, because I think a lot of people miss that. A lot of people who don't understand how VRChat functions, and they just think it's just something that you do, because there's always just people to like interact with or to troll, whatever your motivations may be.
Definitely your experience is what you make of it, and if you don't actively search for and engage how you want, things will engage with you. I'm gonna say it that way. For good or for bad, you never know. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I agree. How did you kind of like come to understand how to interact with VRC? Like how did you kind of like come to that conclusion? Like, I can do whatever I want and also control my environment and like have this experience the way I want to experience it. Was it meeting your friends? Was it seeing a specific world by yourself? I guess kind of what was the epiphany? If you can maybe point that out. I know it's a hard question, but
I think what we can equate VRChat to, maybe it just might be my age group. I equate it to like going to the playground or going to the mall with your friends. Like, the weekend trip with like 4, 5, 6 of you, and just hanging out, doing what you guys like to do. You want to go to the arcade? We're at the arcade now. Let's play some games. Let's go hang out and eat. Let's go do whatever, mess around on wherever, jungle gym, monkey bar, or what have you. Go bowl. Like it's a different form of experience that I kind of was semi used to, like in real life, that I didn't have after I moved away from home. And that's how I see it. It's just like, let's go hang out. We are hanging out. What do you want to do? And there's just been more and more ways to hang out as time has gone on. English is hard.
English is indeed very hard. Yes. In fact, true. Big true. So I love that explanation, by the way. I love that metaphor of akin to like going to the mall with your friends or going to the playground. I like that. It's a nice picture. I think it paints the picture very, very well of what VRChat could be for people who may be new to it or may be unfamiliar with how VRChat actually can be as a platform. Do you consider VRChat a game or a social experience?
It's a social experience. It just happens to be a program.
Go on. Tell us why. Why do you think that way?
A game, you can play a game and then be done with the game, and then that's it. It's beginning, middle, end. You played the game. Sure, there might be like some multiplayer things where you can like play with friends and stuff, but like at baseline, you're interacting with a game. I log onto VRChat to interact with people, and people vary wildly between each other, and it's a whole different experience than playing a game. So.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I think like at first, it's like, oh, I'm trying out this game, but then once you've kind of engaged with it for like a couple months,
you go play Murder, you go play all of the games, but then you realize that like the games are only a part of it. Like it's the people that you actually log on to see and interact with and play those games with. And yeah, I'm not wordy.
Oh no, don't worry. I've accounted for that being the case. You're doing just fine, I must say. You're doing great, Zen. Good job. So don't you worry, you're doing fine. But I was going to ask, what is your favorite thing to do in VRC? Kind of a dumb question. But besides dancing, what is your favorite thing to do in VRC?
So, I mean, I'm gonna bring up the world exploring again. Like there are many worlds I have favorited where I just want to explore. Several like nature worlds that I just walk, kind of get the scenery, take in the sights. Many just incredible, like I want to go to space, and now we're riding a train in space, and I'm just gonna vibe and listen to music. I'm an explorer when I'm not dancing.
Gotcha.
My world favorite list is always full, and the only reason things get deleted is because they're deleted. The worlds are either gone or deleted.
Yeah, I think that's Like I think there are a lot of. I think there's specific categories for people. Like there's like the explorer. There's the raver. There's the mirror dweller. Public worlds. There's the I guess there's like the there's the ERPers. Yeah, there's a lot of people. I think there's a lot of different like subsets of people like that exist in VRC. It's always very, very cool to kind of just like realize that like people do a variety of things in this game that aren't just looking at worlds and going and talking with people and getting drunk. There's so many there's so many things
I'm
to do.
constantly just bouncing around. You mentioned the rave scene, and that's also a scene that I like to frequent quite quite intensely. Like there's always just almost every night there's at least 5 different things going on, and the music can branch out to many different styles. Like just the other week I heard some Chinese Oriental mixes, and that blew my mind for the like because I've never heard that before. Yeah, you just there's so many things and so many aspects that one can experience.
Yeah.
And
So when it comes to, just like VRChat as a whole, is there anything that you'd like to see like added? Is there anything like that, like maybe if you could add anything to VRChat, what would that look like? What would that be? If you can think of something.
personally, and this is a pipe dream, I would like more like camera controls.
Agreed.
Like, in terms of like not just like smoothing, but like I can be able to like set a path and do things, but that's like on a personal level. Like for me, I would just love that. But for like the general public, like keep making the world. I want to see as technology gets, better, and as we get more updated with like the softwares, I want to see the wild stuff. There's people making full games, like full RPGs for VRChat, and I'm all for it. Like give them more resources.
Yes.
to do what they want. Give them the art supplies.
Yeah, give people the tools that they need to create really cool stuff. That is why VRChat is as good as it is. That's why it continues to kind of, I'm pretty sure VRChat continues to be at the top of social VR platforms. Like I would argue that that VRChat is essentially the quote unquote metaverse that people were like really obsessed about. I think at the beginning of this year, it was like the beginning of this year, because Zuck was like, oh, we're renewing Facebook Meta. Yeah. So
he tried to redefine metaverse when actuality the metaverse already existed. It just didn't have the flashlight shown on what it was actually called. Like his metaverse was what it wanted to be, was what already existed. He just was trying to change the definition to benefit how he felt, because he wanted to be the lead on it, but it already existed, so everyone just kind of brushed him off to the side.
Yeah, and like the like I really wish that there were more people in like kind of like who aren't connected with mainstream, because I honestly think that like most VRChat players had no idea that Zuck renamed Facebook Meta, or that what he was trying to accomplish by doing that, because a lot of people are so disconnected from what goes on like in like the business realm and like just the technology
I had
in general.
Myself so far away from Facebook that when it started being talked about, I like, why are people talking about Facebook?
Same. I never go. I haven't gone on the Facebook website in literally almost a decade. Yeah. Because it's
like the only time I've ever like checked it is if I get a message from someone whose only communication is through there. But I don't use it.
Yeah.
I don't. It's not a place for me.
Same. Like I've basically eschewed that from my places of that I visit. But back to the whole idea of like, the metaverse already existing. I wish there were more people who use VRChat who were just kind of aware, so that we could like share more of what VRChat is, so that like people like Zuck wouldn't end up saying, oh, we're trying to create this metaverse. There will already be like a ton of people saying, oh, this already exists. I want the voices in the technology realm to be like a little bit louder, so that we can advocate for what this platform already offers us, which is hopefully it remains free.
Well, I'd say
hopefully, but
at the time there were quite a number of people who were already saying that and doing just that. The problem was the VR was still really niche. Like it only really like took off after the lockdowns, and people started like getting in there, and it's kind of shined a little flashlight on it. But it's still kind of niche. Like the tech is still like growing.
Yeah.
So like people are finding their grounds and stuff. And the ones who've been there from like the jump, like they've been saying what you've been saying. It's a numbers thing. Like it's still kind of niche until it's more readily available to be in people's hands. It's gonna be a bit uphill battle.
Yeah, and we're already moving towards that place where more people can own a VR headset. For example, the Quest 2 I believe is dropping in price because the Quest 3 has already been announced. So so the Quest 2 will be much more affordable. It's a great headset from what I've heard. I've never owned a Quest before, but I believe it's a great entry-level headset for most most users. There's also that teased upgrade, that wireless headset that Steam is making the new Valve wireless headset.
The Nofio attachment.
Yeah.
Has been, and then like the tease for that. Yeah. So we're growing, and it's getting there. We just gotta get there.
Yeah. And I think it's like we're on our way to like making this experience a lot more accessible to a lot more people, for sure. There's also like the Vision Pro. Have you heard about that? That Apple's foray into it's not really VR.
It has not been on my radar.
That is fine. But yeah, so Apple's coming out with this thing called the Vision Pro. It's like this mixture of VR and augmented reality. So like it's like mixed reality type thing where you can basically see outside of your headset, but you can like kind of interact with things. Obviously that's what augmented reality is essentially. So they're developing this really, really expensive headset. It's like I believe it's like 2005. I think it's like $2,500, like something along those lines. Like
Apple price.
Yeah, premium.
The Apple price.
Yeah, only the first adopters, the initial adopters, and get a hold of those things. But yeah, that's happening. People have like made like it seems like it's super expensive, but like for most people, most people are not going to own that. Most people are not going to have that. But I just thought that was like kind of worth noting for people who didn't know that Apple's trying to do a thing too. So yeah.
Are you gonna need to buy the cable after as well?
Yeah.
No, they're forced to actually supply those now.
Yeah. Which is like, again, it's like Apple products. I was an Apple fangirl for a while. I enjoyed Apple products for a good bit of time, and then I'm like, you know what? I should probably just go back to Windows. So I use an Android phone. And I use Windows. So I think it's good to have perspective on like both players. And just know how to use both operating systems. I think it's really cool to like just have that knowledge in general. But anyway, where do you think VR is going? Where do you think VR is going in like the next 5 years, or at least like what are your hopes for where you want VR to go?
My hope is that it becomes a little more commercialized. Which is honestly looking like that. I'd say 5 to 10, it'd be like a lot more available for people to get into in 5 to 10 years, and we'll have like, we'll finally start figuring out like, what exactly should go into a standalone headset, what type of specs, things like that, and make the doorway for entry just easy.
So you would like to see?
That's my hope.
Okay. So you'd like to see VR to be like similarly to like buying a phone?
Probably not. That probably won't happen that soon. But like, I definitely see it heading in that direction of like, this is where technology is going. The VR, the AR, things like that. and just building off of there. But again, the doorway for entry needs to be much bigger for it to work, in my opinion.
Do you have any thoughts about, I guess, what that would look like to you? Like when you say like the entry needs to be bigger. I mean, we have the Quest 2 that's dropping in price with the upcoming Quest 3. We have Steam's new headset, so that means the initial Valve Index is going to drop in price, so they don't cannibalize each other, marketing-wise.
Yeah.
So like, do you have any thoughts with regards to, making it bigger, more accessible?
So within this past year or so, we started seeing like competitors creating headsets for either on the higher end price or even like trying to be commercialized pricing to kind of try and compete. I feel like if we can keep getting like competitive like creations, like, and not just stick to like the Quest is there, like the Quest is the one, the Quest is the entry. If we have more variety, that can probably like boost everything in general. Like healthy competition is what I think what I'm looking for.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's a good point. Healthy competition in business is extremely valuable. It's how essentially that's how innovation happens. When you have a variety of different companies trying different things. I mean, it's also worth mentioning that Vive also has their own headset. I believe there is I don't remember the name of it, but I heard Thrillseeker talking about it. I don't remember the name of it, but there's like this very like slim, like it looks like goggles. Yeah, big screen.
Yeah,
big screen.
The big screen?
Yeah.
That one there alone, the fact that they've managed to get it so small but still function like that is like, yeah, it's still a wired headset, and there are some like things that you will have to still deal with because it's still wired. But the fact that we're getting to where like this is a giant toaster on my head, and
and on mine.
After a little while, it gets uncomfortable, and the comfort is a factor. But like you said, bringing up people, creating more competition. The big screen looks very promising from what I've read and seen people talk about. Its price point's a little on the steeper end for what you're getting. It's just the headset for like $1,000, whereas like a little under $1,000 got you the Index, which is the headset, the controllers, and base stations.
Right.
So like that might deter some people from getting it, because then they still need to pay more into getting the rest of it. But if you've already like got the baseline, it's like an upgrade. Yeah, I'm happy to see variety and innovation.
Same here. It's definitely what's going to make it possible for just more adaptation for the masses. Yeah, I think it would be really cool if we got to a point where it was like you could you would just have a headset will be like for example, it would be buying like a pair of clothing, or like a pair of sneakers. Like you buy sneakers, you buy a headset, and like you use that, like, and you wear it, you have that for a while, and then maybe you upgrade to like a better version. But again, that's what's going to come with healthy competition, where there's different companies creating new things and trying new things and lowering the prices to make it more affordable for the peons like me, who can't just afford things, but yeah,
stuff's expensive.
True. It's only getting more expensive.
Is hard.
That's true.
I am in the couch.
Yes, you are. I was about to say. You're getting very, very comfortable there. But so you don't. So with regards to like the VR experience, you don't have any sort of you said you're into like video games and such. Like some people like reference like SAO. Some people reference Ready Player One. So you don't have any like visions of grandeur in regards to that You just hope that things kind of like in technology just improves and we get better headsets and they're lighter, more comfortable, like the big screen and such.
Like I know people have been talking about like the SAO full dive like brain thing, but I feel like we're more likely to go the Ready Player One route of like a setup that just has everything, and I think that's the direction really, because I mean, like haptics suits are already a thing of various forms, from like the ones that vibrate to the ones that actually send like an electric pulse to wherever the spot is. So that's where I feel like it's pushing in that direction.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I like both ideas. I like both the SAO idea, but also the Ready Player One idea. I could kind of nerd out about the SAO idea and why it's probably not going to happen. But I'm not going to do that because this is a podcast about you. Not about me. So, but I like both ideas. So yeah. But I agree that the Ready Player One avenue seems to be more realistic in terms of like where technology is going and such.
I mean, all the pieces technically already exist. The Omni treadmill is a thing. Plenty of us tether the cable above our head. So it's, just get everything together and basically have that already. Just not as significant or technologically advanced, but it's there.
Yeah. Agreed. So I did want to talk a little bit about. I know we talked about technologies that are existing within VR, and hoping that technology continues to improve so that we can have more creativity, more tools given to creators. And I think when we're talking about tools that creators have at their disposal, I think we'd be remiss to not talk about a certain tool that has come under fire as of recently. I'm sure maybe you've heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm wondering your thoughts about the whole Unity debacle.
They burned some bridges with that one.
Yeah. So for those who may not be aware of what we're talking about, the Unity debacle. Essentially what's going on is that Unity is now asking for a runtime fee. They're essentially asking for creators who use Unity to create their game to pay a fee to ultimately use their product. For every download that is used within their company, like whoever is using the Unity package, they have to pay for every version that exists on every computer. And not only are they charging for that, but they're also charging for every Unity download that is put on another person's computer. Which means if you're developing a game in Unity and a person downloads your game, they ultimately have to install Unity on their computer, which would be a specific. They say it's 20 cents. They say it's a 20 cent, cost onto the company. But if you imagine you want your game to be successful, if 200K people download your game, that's somewhere in the vein of that's like 40K. It's like 40K that you have to pay, something along those lines.
It's a solid chunk.
Yeah, it's a chunk. Don't quote me on that.
Companies could probably take the hit, but the ones taking the real hit are all of the indie devs.
Right.
Indie people, the ones who don't have that money. Like, we released our game and it sold like 1 million copies. Well, now we're in the hole for like 200K.
Yeah. So
each of like dollar.
So they're not
$1 million in sales with 200K that is now due to the initial download people did, and it's. I don't remember. I read a little bit of it, but I don't remember it all right now. But it definitely hurts all the indie because they can't do that. They can't exactly do that profitably.
Right.
It's doesn't work.
Right.
Unity could probably say they'll roll it back, but like no one's gonna trust them anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, very, very much so. Very much so. Yeah, and like the whole thing about indie developers essentially like not being able to break even, like they will be in the red. So like, if their game succeeds, they're essentially going to be in the red. So their success ultimately leads to them having to shell out more money beyond their overhead of running the company, beyond, you know, paying their employees, beyond developing the game and getting the assets and things like that. Then they also have to pay Unity for every download. And sure, you know, Unity did say, oh, like if you have this many downloads, it would be this much. This many downloads, this much. It doesn't matter. There have been plenty of posts on Twitter that people have been very made by indie devs, basically saying what you were just saying. The idea that they won't be able to pay the costs. They'll basically be suffering from, like, if their game succeeds, they basically have to still pay more than what they had to even like make the game in the first place. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work for many indie devs. So I want to know your thoughts on that, because it just so happens that VRC uses, you know, Unity to upload avatars and worlds. So as an avatar creator, I want to know your thoughts on how you think about that, and maybe what you're planning on doing.
So a lot of my thoughts initially stemmed mainly focusing on like how does that affect, you know, general game development for, like, you know, when I looked into it, finding out that it really hurt indie devs. I never directly thought about how it affected me, as I'm not like I do this as a hobby, and like, so like I'm not making a game. It's not like I'm gonna be selling a game and have to take that hit too. But it's not to say that the mindset didn't come. You know, everyone's had that mindset that I know that's been a creator, which is like, do we really? How is this gonna affect VRChat? Like, will we keep using it? Will they try using something else? It's a difficult conversation that I am not in a position to where I can say where it would go. It's unpredictable, really. Like, Unity's used so broadly across many avenues that it's someone somewhere is having these conversations, and I wish to be a fly on the wall, but I know I'll never be a fly on the wall to hear what's going on.
Yeah, and it's really just, it's a major loss for many people, given how broadly Unity is used and how fundamental it is for so many games. They've really done themselves in with this move. There's some additional information about that, which I'm not going to get into because I've only kind of skimmed the surface of like the potential of like maybe there was some internal trading going on, because it just so happened that the CEO sold some like around 20,000 shares right before the announcement. You know, it could be some shady business going on.
Shady.
Yeah, but I'm not
Shady.
Yeah, I'm not too well versed in that, so I'm not going to get into that. So we'll stay on the.
I'm not a lawyer. I won't speculate.
Yeah, which is fine. totally reasonable. I won't either. But like the idea of like I think for a lot of creators, like they Unity has said that like the majority of people who use their service are people like you and me and other, you know, VRChat creators, people who aren't creating games, people who aren't, you know, running companies. Like they're saying that the majority of people who use their platform aren't game developers. They're saying that to kind of justify them making this move. But it's still, you know, it still doesn't.
It's still a bad move.
Still a bad move. Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, it makes sense that like you like wouldn't have any sort of like thoughts on like, all right, well, am I gonna use this or not? You know, I think VRChat may actually end up like I imagine like with like VRC Plus, you know, I did see that they the VRC released another like kind of incentive to obtain VRC Plus. It's called the you're able to change the colors in your menu, so you can actually customize the colors the way that you want. They give you like 5 default palettes, and then but you can also create your own palettes and also share. You can share that information with someone so they can use the same palette as you, and you can also import someone else's, obviously, because if you can share, you have to be able to import also. So that's like an additional kind of like it's like a cosmetic. It's a cosmetic incentive, as pretty much everything for VRC Plus essentially is. You know, the avatar next to your name, the the
mode stuff, more avatar saving slots, the general stuff that
it's mainly all cosmetically inclined. So I would like to hope that the people who do use VRC Plus, I'm one of them, I'm hoping that there will be an opportunity that through people supporting this game in that way, that they'll be able to not kind of buckle under that, because I think it's important to keep in mind that VRC is still a startup. They're still a startup company. They're still not profitable at all. VRC is essentially a company that is getting they're getting money from investors. They are not making money aside from like VRC Plus. Aside from that, but that's really it. And I'm sure they also took a hit because of, the EAC thing that happened. What was it like? It was like fall of last year. Fall of last year, I think. That's when it happened.
Yeah, it was near the end of last year was when all of that took place.
Yeah. So like they definitely took a hit with
everyone's got their thoughts on that one.
Yeah. That was a question that I brought up with a number of people who were on the podcast back then. I wanted to know like their thoughts about easy anti-cheat. And how they felt about that, mainly regards to mods, blah 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 blah. But we've evolved. VRC is actually doing things to they're making good on the things that they said they were going to do. Adding features, accessibility features for a variety of people. And they're making the game better. They're making the platform better. I don't want to call it a game. It's not really a game. Not so much to me anymore, and also not to you. But they're making improvements to make this experience better for us. And I think that's a wonderful thing. So I did want to talk about the Unity thing, but I also wanted to kind of take the time to talk about your 3D modeling. And how that has, where that came from, and I guess how did you ultimately land on creating your current model?
I guess to initially start, so I went to college for media arts and animation, which involved like a couple 3D classes. So at baseline, I knew how to use ZBrush and a little bit of Maya. I used that baseline knowledge to just kind of kickstart, like, okay, I know I want to do this. Let's figure it out. And then I downloaded Blender, and it just kind of went from there. Had my initial, I didn't want to start out crazy, so I made a cheapified version of my character just to start with. Very small, very tiny, big head. But it was a learning experience, and then I practiced making humans a couple times, and then I went back to tackle my furry character, and then I did it again, and again, and this is where we've landed now. After, I'd say it would have been when version 3 became a thing. It's almost been a year since, so I guess technically every year I update it.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. That makes perfect sense. I mean, it is interesting that you're just like, oh, I wanted to just try to make this thing. You already had the initial experience, and you're like, oh, okay. So you were just inspired to do it once you start using. I imagine it was after you started using VRChat. You were in. I guess how long after using?
It was after.
Yeah.
So I started in March. I made my first model in April.
Wow,
very soon. Was when it first made, and then by near the end-ish of that year was when I remade it to how I felt like I wanted it. And as I learned more and everything, each following year, I just made updates. At baseline, like, yeah, it's like I had the mindset of like, ooh, I want my own model, and then my wallet went, you don't have new model money, so you better learn how to make it, and that's kind of how I did that. I couldn't afford to buy it, so I learned to make it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no better motivation than lack of money. Don't I know it? Yeah. So, I guess. All right. So I guess we can talk about your avatar design. So you said you're trying to model humans for a bit, and then you moved on to a furry character. So I guess what led you to getting to I guess having a furry character?
Well, I had the character like well before getting into VR. I just like so at baseline, like I am a furry. I've drawn for years at this point, and humans get kind of boring to draw after a while. Like there's only so many human faces that one can make, whereas like there are many different designs for many different people's characters, whether they're dogs or dragons or goblins or how have you. And like I said, I had my personal character I wanted to bring into the game, and I learned how to get it in the game. It took a lot of time and many hours, but I managed.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm still learning every day.
Yeah. I mean that's the whole point of life. If you're not learning, you're dead, or just living an unfulfilling life, which you might as well be. I know that's a very controversial statement. I don't think that's controversial. I actually don't think it's controversial at all. I think everyone should be learning. I think it's important for people to be learning and experiencing new things. That's the whole point of life. It's like people shouldn't take that for granted. Is what I'm trying to say, basically. So I think it's great that you're still learning, you're still having these experiences, and you found yourself as a furry, and I'm like, has that always been the case? I mean, obviously you said you were drawing humans for a while, but when did you realize that you felt comfortable, I guess, embodying a dog?
I actually was a panda at first.
Really? Okay.
Back
Wow.
in 2013, I had a panda.
Exclusive
And
stuff we don't know.
Some people know, some people don't. But yeah, no, I had a panda, and there are some aspects of her that are still like in my model here and there. Just because like it was my first foray into like drawing personal character for myself. So it'll always have like that attachment. It's just now I'm a dog. I'd say like over time, I gravitated from the panda look to I felt, the dog. So I'm a dog with dreadlocks, and I'm happy with it.
Okay, nice. And so, why a dog?
Why a dog?
Okay. You haven't thought about this?
So the way this one came about, right? I was just drawing random characters, and like after looking at like a sheet of just random characters I was just making up on the fly, I got really attached to one of the drawings that happened to be a dog.
Okay.
And it kind of went from there. Like I went from like, what if I did like actually spend time to design a dog? And then I picked a breed. I'm a Shih Tzu, and just kind of went from there.
Okay.
It was just one of those like spur of the moment type of like, what if? Oh, I like this. Let's keep going, and then I just kept going.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So, like I laugh because because I find it amusing, but the truth is, I feel like from like I've interviewed a number of furries, and I think for many of like people who are in that community, like it's not really kind of like something that you choose. It's like it chose you kind of thing. It just you saw it, and it was just like, yeah, this kind of fits, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's kind of how it went. It was just like one day the drawing just kind of existed, and then now it's my main character, and it's what I use to portray myself.
Yeah. Which is, I think that's perfectly fine. And the thing is, I'm gonna out myself. I'm gonna out myself right here for so don't tell anybody. So basically, I had the same experience. I actually have a furry model, like I felt not a furry model, but I have an artwork, a piece of art that I'm like, it's a furry, and I'm like, that actually fits me pretty fucking well. It was just like I couldn't stop thinking about it.
You see it. You don't know until you see it, and you're just like, you know what, this works.
Yeah. So they're out there. There is secretly there's a piece of furry art that Nepherti likes, that hopefully one day she can get made, because it would it fits me like a glove, like just the way like the mood and the attitude, the way the eyes were drawn, and just like the way they were standing. It just I don't know, there's something about it. So I get it is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
Mm-hmm. So, can you tell us like how long does it usually take, or how long did it take for your most recent update? And I guess what do you focus on? 2 weeks? Okay.
I say 2 weeks, but it was 2 weeks of when I'm not like. It was 2 weeks of, hey guys, I'm not gonna exist in VR for a little while. All of my time outside of work is now being spent in Blender. So like, many really, really late nights making things, and like I got the body like modeled out within like a couple days. Redid the head and everything. And textures, weight painting, and by the end of like that 2 week period, it was like, okay, time to make sure and see if it works, and it worked, and I didn't have to do too much fixing. But now I have all my old clothes that I need to bring forward onto the model, and a lot of them don't fit, so I have to make adjustments.
Oh, because
it's a new body, like entirely. Yeah. So I'm at the crossroad of like, maybe if I just pick 2 or 3 old outfits and then just go forward with new, then that'll work out. That might be what I do.
Okay, I see. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, so 2 weeks approximately, to kind of work on that. What about your
blitzing it? Yeah.
Yeah. What about like your first one? Do you remember like your first model? How long that took you?
That was also, again, I blitzed it. Many hours in the day spent in like, I want to figure this out. A couple sleepless nights because I just couldn't put it down. But I think that one was like rough. Like when I started it, it was like the end of March and mid to late April, like maybe 3-4 weeks of mess, like making the base body, making sure it worked in VR. Okay, it's working. Let's add the ears. Let's add the tail. Do I want hair, clothes? And just by the time I was just like at a decent like point of like, this is the avatar I'm using for now, it was like almost a month.
And
because at the same time I still had like a full-time job and other art things that took up time, so it was not enough hours in the day.
True. I 100% agree with that. So you make it sound like, I mean, obviously you said that you had many sleepless nights, so you had to make sacrifices in order to like achieve what you wanted in a short period of time. I guess can you like I imagine the process of making an avatar is similar across various creators. I have had an avatar creator on the podcast on here before, and I want to know exactly. I guess can you kind of walk us through like your process, and like I guess like why do you choose to blitz? Why and maybe you can explain that while you're explaining your process.
So the blitzing is not so much I chose to do it, it's more so I couldn't put the mouse down.
That energy you were talking about earlier, that we both are familiar with.
So it's like I get home, it's 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, and I'm like at the computer, I'm in Blender, and I blink, and now it's 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
That's kind of what happens.
Okay. Yeah.
Did I eat? Maybe. Yeah, should I go to bed?
Possibly.
Yeah, I probably should.
Yeah. So do you have I imagine you have a specific process of like how you build a model. But let's talk about like your most recent update. Because not only did you update your model, you also updated your outfit. Because your community came up with a I guess an outfit suggestion for you. I believe that's what it was.
So the one you're talking about, that one I recently finished like the concept art design for it, and the plan was make the outfit for my avatar, and then my brain went, well, what if you just update your avatar first, and then do the outfit? So then I disappeared for 2 weeks and then made the new avatar, and now like the next thing is going to be the new outfit that was voted on by my community, which surprised me that the Common Rider outfit won over the latex dress and other things, but I think it might have won out of spite.
Why is it that?
Because the latex dress beat out a Sonic the Hedgehog like jogging suit with like the hood that had the spikes, and then it beat out the Xeon army like uniform, which are both like cool ideas in my opinion. And then
Xeon is pretty cool. Pretty cool. I agree.
Yeah, and the lewd option beat both of those out, and I think everyone that voted for those went out of spite and voted for Kamen Rider.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Makes sense. All right. So, yeah. So basically, again, I'm pretty sure that most people who create 3D avatars, they have a very similar process. So, just for people who may not have watched my interview with Dunny, please check out the one with Dunny when that comes out on YouTube. Because he has a lot of insights, and is like he worked very hard on a very like meticulously designed male demon avatar, which is definitely worth a listen. But can you tell us about like your process and how you kind of go through that?
Well, like most, it generally starts out like you're drawing the concept, the front view, the side view, making sure proportions are how you want it, bringing it into the 3D model program of your choice. I tend to box model. There are many people who sculpt using the clay tools in Blender or whatever other tool they're using, and just from ground up, you make the head separate, you make the body, and after some time of finagling, you eventually get how you want, and then you finagle some more, and some more, and some more, until you find a stopping point. But that stopping point is always moving. Like I could have stopped here, but now I wanted more outfits. Oh, well, what if I did this? What if I have this hair today? Like, what if I make a different hairstyle? What if I do this? I don't think I made this piece of my model right. Let's redo it. The mind gremlins happen.
Yes.
Throughout the process. So like, just gotta play as you go. Yeah, I'm gonna use that.
Okay. Yeah.
Take it one step at a time.
All right. So use I haven't heard of the box. What was it called? Box what?
Box modeling.
Box modeling.
It's basically where you, instead of like starting with like a clay blob and sculpting on it, you're instead creating polygons, creating verts, and shaping them in a box fashion. Like, you know, for a leg, it would start with like a ring of verts, and then you just extrude them and make the polygons and shape them as you work your way up, type of deal. It also helps me in like making sure that my edge flows are how I want. For like certain shapes and things.
Can you explain?
So an edge flow would be. So for example, an edge flow is like for the eye socket. The eye socket's a circle, so you want the edge flow around the eye socket to be that circle of polygons or verts. Same thing with like the mouth. You always want a general shape that when it deforms, it helps. So like, how do I explain this? Have you ever like looked at something that you can see the edge loops on, or something? You ever unfolded a cube?
Unfolded a cube?
Yeah, like if you've looked in the unfolded cube and it was like all of the sides splayed out and then made that T shape.
Yeah, it looks like a T shape. Yeah.
It's something like that, but I could also use that analogy for like UVing. It's just you want, when it comes to edge flows, you want a flow of edges to where when you deform them, you don't have jagged edges or anything like that going on. And just like something that's round and circular like an eye socket just works better if its edge flow is a circle.
Okay. It is very difficult for me to kind of imagine that. I usually can kind of picture things pretty well, but given that you're like working with polygons, you're
without
like
a visual, it's a very difficult to explain.
Yeah.
And what an edge loop would be. But yeah, and I could probably at some point like better explain it like off stream, and where I can actually create visuals and better explain it.
Yeah, I think people would benefit from that. I would benefit from that, honestly, because I know like nothing about 3D modeling. I have always just been in 2D. I've always just been like a Photoshop nerd. So like that's kind of where I've been. I know how to video edit. I know how to audio edit, but like I've never really dabbled in 3D at all. So it's definitely interesting. I think it's.
Oh my god. You remember the paper fortune teller thingy from like grade school?
The paper fortune.
Like
Oh yeah. Wait, when it goes like out and out and yeah.
So you're holding one of those, and you have it flapping its lips, its mouth open and closed. Its edge loop is literally, if you look at the squares, those 4 squares going around. If you were looking at it head first, you would see those 4 squares making that, and that would be how that's connected.
Okay, so like, all right. So when you open up, there's like 2 squares at the top and then 2 squares at the bottom when it's like opened up. Yeah.
And however many are connecting around the side to like finish out the circle. But at baseline, you've got the 2 up top, the 2 up bottom, and whatever's connecting them on the side.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, all right. So yeah, okay. I think I get it. Yeah, visually speaking, I can picture that now. Yeah, that's. I haven't heard about one of those fortune teller things in a while. I forgot they even existed.
Why my brain went like.
Yeah.
My brain just was like, well, there's that. Like, talk about that. And yeah, no, visually, you see the squares, you see the polygons.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, good to know. So, let me see. I wonder if that's all I wanted to talk to you about with regards to your 3D modeling. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all as far as I can as far as I can think. I think I asked you about pretty much everything. So let's keep it moving. Let's get into dancing. Let's get into dancing.
Okay. That'll be a little easier to talk about.
Oh, I'm sure. So where did it all begin? Let us know where that all began. And not just in VR, not just in VR. Like
that was gonna be my question, because
Yeah.
if we were gonna pertain to VR, that's a different start point.
right.
I'd say I don't know, I never really like gave dancing like a huge focus, but like, or back on when like the music's a big part was a big part of my life. So naturally you would dance, you would shake to the music and everything like that. And I, over time, what was popular, what was a thing going around was it would change. Like back in high school and like the later years of high school, I really got into like hardstyle shuffling and jump style and things like that. I had several friends who did like hip hop, and like watching from afar was always fun. I never really tried it myself. But I never like dedicated like 100% of my time to like actually doing it. It was always just like a side hobby of like, I'm listening to music, let's just move my body a little bit and enjoy it. It didn't really take off until I started dancing in VR and like really getting into it.
And how long of a gap from when you first like thought it was cool to like when you finally started to like really do it?
By the time I actually like really started doing it, I got full body in December of 21. It was when I got feet and waist, and by April, I had started dancing for a club, and that went on till about October of 22. Ish.
Interesting. So you were dancing for a VR club?
Yeah, I danced for a club that was called The Parlor. It was a furry club that had, it was bi-weekly events, and I would dance on the Saturday nights, and it was fun. Like that was when I like really started focusing on like stage dancing and performing for an audience of some form, and that was a lot of fun. And that just kind of springboarded like me just being like, I just want to vibe and dance. And then I fell into like the rave scene and met a bunch of people through there. It's just, just kind of went from there. But I've always I really enjoy dancing, and it's just been highlighted since getting in VR.
Gotcha. All right. So I guess what got you into? Well, I mean, apparently you were actually you were freestyling to music, as a dancer for a VR club for approximately, you said like almost a year.
Almost a year.
Okay. All right, and
I'd say closer to like 6 to 7 months.
Okay, gotcha. I guess what pushed you to take on that opportunity?
Friends told me I should try, and after them telling me constantly, you should do it, you should do the thing, maybe it'll work, maybe they'll take you, do the thing, and me going like, nah, they probably won't like me, nah. Just like, fine, I'll do it the one time, and if they like, I'll apply, and if they accept me, then fine, I'm there. And then they ended up accepting me. Because
Yeah.
beforehand it was just like hanging out with friends, doing Just Dance or Dance Central, just goofing off and around and everything. And yeah, so pestering from friends, that happened, caused that to happen.
Yeah, it's usually the people who are, cheering you on, and people who believe in you are saying, try the thing. Like I don't think there's I don't know, there's probably been a moment in my life where I've had like a friend kind of push me to do something, but normally I'm kicking my own ass. Normally it's me just telling myself to do the thing, to do the things. But it's always good to have that.
I was definitely content in just keeping it as like a hobby thing, just a side like thing. I wasn't looking forward to like dancing for anywhere or anything, and then that just kind of happens.
So now that it basically kind of happened, now you're like doing it like all day, every day.
Yeah, that's like my thing now.
Yeah.
Even when there's no events,
Yeah. So
I'm constantly like.
You're constantly learning stuff. So I guess, how did you get into the choreography side of things? Because obviously you're doing a lot of freestyle. Like I love freestyle personally.
Freestyle's fun.
Yeah, I enjoy freestyle a lot. I'm not the greatest dancer, but I can dance. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty good at dancing. But obviously it's very it's limited in VR because of my my limited trackers. So I don't like to do it because I want to actually see all forms, all points of movement. So I guess how I imagine you didn't just get like a million trackers like right off the bat. So like, what was that like?
No, I started with the 3 and just kind of made it work.
Okay.
Like, yeah, there was like limitations of like I don't have a chest tracker, I don't have elbows, so I have to work with it. You know, finagle certain movements to make it seem like I'm doing the right movement when really it's like overly exaggerated. If you looked at me in real life compared to like in VR, I'm way more exaggerated in real life to get it to translate in the VR proper.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of how I went. I started with 3, and then eventually, thanks to a bunch of really awesome friends and support, I was able to get 3 more. And I've had those and just kind of been enjoying myself. And yeah, it's been, let's see, I had the 3. I got the 3 December 21 by loosely, I want to say November of 22 was when I got 3 more.
Okay.
But when I bought 3 more, and then they arrived in like almost New Year's, probably like a couple of weeks off. And yeah, I've had full bodies for about that long.
Okay. And how do you describe I mean, like you have a lot of experience dancing with just like limitations and with full trackers. I've seen the video. You've actually made a video that kind of shows like what it's like to dance with 3 trackers or minimal trackers, and then what it's like to dance with like full-on tracking. For the untrained eye, you can't really see much difference, but there is a substantial like difference.
I also noticed that I was doing the over-exaggerating, and so it was even harder to tell, really.
Yeah.
Because I was doing what I was already doing, like with the fewer trackers. So it definitely is like, you can do it with the 3. You definitely can do it with the 3. There's just some finagling you gotta do to really make it work.
Okay. and where like, can you describe that finagling? Like where do you place the trackers? Like where should they be? For someone like me who has 3 trackers, you know?
So for you, since you have 3, I would say initially, my friend Shox was telling me about this one a while ago. Wherever you naturally sit your waist tracker, go higher and put it there, and you'll get more rotation out of your hip moving, because it's the IK is doing your hip leg thing, so it's like you'll get more out of it if you raise it up, not too high, not like up here, but like just raise it up. And you'll immediately see a difference.
To your ribs?
Like just it's kind of like almost like either on or like right under the rib cage.
Interesting. Huh. Like I typically like put mine on my waist. And like it usually kind of sits there
where it would normally go.
Right. Okay. Yeah, so
just bring it up some. Even a little bit can change how far your hip is doing the sway.
Okay. That's interesting. I will try that. I will definitely try that. It's like I'm Again, I love to dance. I enjoy it a lot. I don't get to do it a whole lot because I am not an explorer, as you described yourself. I'm kind of a just I enjoy the human interaction, the one-on-ones, the solitude. Yeah, I definitely love to like go to raves and bust a move here and there. But again, for someone like you who's like very experienced, like how long did it take you to get comfortable with like doing routines? And I guess why did you get into doing choreographed routines rather than sticking with freestyle?
So initially, I just thought they were fun. Like whenever I would see, like, cause I really like K-pop, and K-pop always has some form of routine or something that's wild or crazy. And a lot of times you see one and it's like, maybe I can pull that off. And it looks like I know for a fact like that's how I started. It's just like I'll see a routine and it's like, maybe I can pull it off, and then I just take some time just to see if I can pull it off. Sometimes I'll see if anyone's like broken down how to do each move online. Like there are plenty of people that do that. Like they'll break down a routine or a choreo or something, and like they'll break it down step by step. And then that kind of started there. It's kind of learning piece by piece, and then that might have helped in like how I'm able to watch something and break it down myself to figure it out. But there's many reasons, but at baseline I just find it fun to do choreos because those are planned out. Those are designed specifically. Like there comes a point where you look at motions and it doesn't make sense, and then when you're doing them, all of the motions make sense. Like on why you're stepping your leg here when doing this arm movement, and a lot of times it's due to momentum and things like that. But even outside of K-pop, from like, things like Missy Elliott has many videos out there that is just like you just want to dance them.
Yeah, get your freak on. It's a classic. Yeah.
Yeah, and just it's just you see it, you want to do it, you try it, figure it out. That's kind of how I went from there. But I always ended up falling back into K-pop because it was always so diverse between songs.
Okay. And
the difficulty scaling's kind of steep.
Oh yeah, I would imagine so. Like it's being a K-pop artist is incredibly demanding for what I've heard. You're essentially you're essentially idol status in that sort of atmosphere, because like being in a K-pop group is like in Korea like pretty big deal. And they take it very, very seriously. It's
a process that takes years, and like there's many people who like they'll go through the process and then it doesn't work out. And that's years off their life that was just lost.
Yeah, it's a gamble. It's definitely a gamble. Like it's nothing is guaranteed when you're putting yourself out there. And and there's so many. There's so many groups. That's the other thing. It's pretty saturated type of entertainment. But I mean that's why it's become so popular. Like the only choreographed routine that I've ever attempted was well, okay, there was two. Technically there's two.
The cha-cha slide and the electric slide do count.
Well, I already know those. I knew those just from
there you go.
just from being around family. I learned from being around family. Yeah, so I know those sort of. But also there was the Haruhi Suzumiya ending. And Hara Yukai,
which is really fun.
Yeah, it's a very, very fun routine. I'm pretty sure that was like the first time anime ever had anything like that ever. In like an anime.
The influence of the Haruhi was
it was massive.
Massive.
Yes.
Like there was not a con you would go to and there would be people not doing it at some point.
Absolutely. Yeah. That it made such a splash, because again, I don't think there was anything quite like that at that point in time in anime to that degree. So that was really, really exciting for people. So that was my first one. The other one was Gundam Style.
That one did make the rounds. That one did indeed
Yeah.
make the rounds.
Yeah, I tried. I got
Little
close.
Secret, back in college, I danced that in a full armor custom reach suit for Halloween. Very hot, but it was fun.
Yeah, you make sacrifices for
I
it for the
mean-
lulls. I suppose that was for the lulls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
did it for the lulz. Yeah. And then I walked to McDonald's afterwards and got a bunch of ice.
No food? Still not eating?
No, I got food. I got food at that point, but it was like, you walk in and you see Master Chief, or I guess at that point Noble Six, at a table at McDonald's with a large Sprite and like 2 cheeseburgers, and there's a picture somewhere, I'm gonna have to find it, of me just staring at the food, still with the helmet on, contemplating. Like, it looks like I'm contemplating taking the helmet off. Because the food's right there. It's just like,
Yeah.
I want to eat. Give me the food.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that is very, very, very amusing. Like, but yeah, I've tried to like do that sort of thing. Cause I do love dancing. Like, again, like the closest, I'm not closest. I enjoy Dances Revolution. Do you like Dances Revolution? DDR?
Oh yeah, big time.
Okay.
So many hours, so many coins, so many
Same.
quarters.
Yes, exactly. Same. And what are you feeling?
Captain Jack will always be my go-to.
True. May you rest in peace. May you rest in peace.
Yeah.
But what are your feelings on Pump It Up?
Enjoyable.
Really?
Kind of. I said enjoyable. I didn't say I loved it.
Okay.
I said enjoyable.
Nice.
It's like, you'll never see me by myself on it.
Right. Same. Like I firmly believe
You pull someone with you for that.
absolutely.
Pull someone with you for that.
Like I will. I'm convinced that people who play DDR, who actually like, seriously play DDR, are not crazy about Pump. They'll tolerate it, but that's it. They'll tolerate it.
Yeah.
So I had to make sure. I had to make sure that you're.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not. If I had a choice, I would never. Unless I want to mess with the friend that I brought along with me, then yeah, I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna be that friend. You might hate me for like 30 seconds, but we'll laugh about it after, and then we'll play the proper DDR. To not.
Nice. Okay, cool. We're still cool, Zen. You're doing well. You're doing well, and we're still cool. Great. You passed the second test. What was the first one? Nobody knows. But yeah. So that, like, I like the fact that you've actually just kind of really like dove into doing choreography, doing choreographed dances. And have you ever thought of like doing your own? Have you ever thought of like choreographing your own thing? Have you ever attempted it?
I actually have done that a couple times. Like, there are some uploads out there in the ether that a good chunk of like the routine that you see was choreographed, and there are moments in between where there is freestyle happening, but the specific moments, I like, if there's a song I'm doing a dance for, not everything when I'm freestyling is like 100% freestyle. There are like if I've heard a song like so many times or anything, and I know there are certain moves I want to do for certain points, I'll plan those out like ahead of time in my head, and while in the freestyle, like I'll be listening for when I need to get ready to do like the thing that I've been wanting to do. One of the dances I did, which was for Thumbs, that's the name of the song. It was a stage dance, and there were clear, specific moments where you can see that those were choreographed, and I did plan those out.
So you
a
have
good chunk of other times I do freestyling. Yes.
Okay, cool. But not nearly as many. Like you've done. It sounds like you've done it like maybe once or twice.
Like a handful. It takes time to do that, and it's just a lot faster to just freestyle a randomized playlist.
Yeah.
Than to try and plan something and hope it works out.
Yeah,
Not
I'm
to say that I won't ever plan something out. That's fun to do. It's just, it takes time. Way more time than just hit and play and go.
true. Like I would like I very often get in freestyle. I did when I first got full body, I did that I don't know if you saw, but I did a little routine for a song that I really like. I just freestyled it based on what I felt. I'm a very kind of feel based dancer. So like I can change up my style based on how things are flowing in the song and stuff like that. But like I really like I love dancing as a whole, and I have so much respect for you and like what you do. Like because like the time that it takes to do what you do is actually like it's impressive. Like it takes actual dedication to do what it is that you do. And then the fact that you do that as well as like artwork, like you're an artist as well, and I'm assuming you work a full-time job as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that is a good chunk of my day is spent working.
yeah, and yet you still
And then
manage to
the other-
stream. How do you do it?
Inconsistently,
How,
but
how
yeah.
do you do it?
Remember how I told you that I don't sleep very well?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
That might be a resulting factor in like that. I've been told I do way too much. And I have many friends that yell at me sometimes, but like, did you eat? How much sleep did you get last night? Like they know who they are. They know who they are, and I just whenever they call me out on it, I get silent.
Yeah, that is.
No, it's just not enough hours in the day, and I just try and fit as much in. But like again, when things take precedent, like I disappear. So like for example, the routine that I learned in 3 days, that meant that there wasn't a stream for those 3 days.
Right. Yeah.
Because I would come home and go straight into figuring it out.
Right. Yeah, it's yeah, like it's like you do too much. Let's just say that. You do too much. It's true. You do a lot. And it's often at the detriment of yourself. But I do want to talk about streaming because I know that you do it, and I'm sure that you share a lot of your experiences and what you do, like your creativity with your community. I'm sure that's largely why they stick with you, because they like how creative you are, they like how you push yourself, they respect you, and they find you good company, I would imagine. So let's talk about the streaming thing.
I would hope.
Yeah, I would hope so. Yeah, for sure. So you basically, okay, I did all my research. So, you made your Twitch account in 2012.
I did.
You did. You started streaming in 2018. Your first stream.
That's a lie. Okay, never mind.
You did like a stream in 2018, like a stream, maybe two in like 2019, and I think maybe like one.
When I was
in 2020, and then
when I was like trying to see if I could make the art streaming thing like work.
Yeah, there were art streams, yeah.
And while those were fun, there actually are some streams that are earlier than that. If you were like looking back at like the VODs that exist, then there are some test streams that do exist before. I did technically, if we want to like go back to like the beginning of my art streams, you remember livestream.com, I think it was, or I don't remember the full like handle, but it was like Livestream was the website for it. And then when that went down, people gradually went from there to Picardo, and I was on Picardo for a while and only would every now and then touch Twitch. And so that's where those like sporadic streams happened, where it was just like, oh, that's how that VOD's there from like that long ago, and then there's a huge gap of time.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's what that was.
Okay. So yeah, obviously, you know,
But yeah.
some websites just weren't around, you know, that far back, I would imagine. But yeah,
That
yeah.
was back when I think Twitch was still just in
Just in
TV.
TV, yeah. More or less, I would imagine, yeah. So okay, so basically you started like very very early on like various like early live streaming websites to do art, essentially.
Hmm.
And you started streaming seriously. I believe it was at the start of 2021, I believe.
I want to say closer to like. I started gradually being like. So like within the summer-ish, it was like every now and then I'll hit live and just be with my friends doing whatever. But it wasn't until like September, October where it was like I actually want to try and like make this a thing.
Yeah, because that's when you started VRChat.
And then that December is when I got my full body tracking, and then dancing occurred. Now that's a thing that can happen on stream, or has happened on stream, outside of just chilling out and vibing, or just like, you know, just hanging out. It was also a majority of my streams was just hanging out. Had a day, just come vibe. That was basically it. And then random occurrence of now we're dancing for like 4 hours.
I see. Okay. But yeah, so you've been around for a pretty long time. What is your what's your thoughts on how live streaming how it's evolved from back then? I know you didn't do it a whole lot, but I mean you started pretty far back. So I guess like what's your perspective on like how things have changed, and I guess how do you feel about it now that you've essentially been streaming pretty seriously for approximately around like 2 years ish, give or take?
Ish, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess for like way back when I was just like sporadically trying to do it, when I was streaming art, it was mostly just to share what I was working on. Like, I'm drawing this thing. Come hang out and chat with me while I figure out this thing, draw this thing, or animate this thing. Yeah, I never really like dove into like the gaming side of streaming. I was always on the art side, which which kept it kind of like not niche, but like the circle wasn't very big. So like, you know, there comes a point where like you make artist friends and you just all know each other gradually. Like there was a time on Picardo when Picardo first popped up, you basically just eventually knew everyone who streamed on that site after a little bit, just because of how things worked. You can multi-stream with them and have like up to 4 people streaming at the same time, drawing, with sharing the same chats and stuff. And so like you would just eventually know almost everyone just from just being on that site, which I think also helped in like why it took so long for me to switch to Twitch, because like the community was already like in Picardo. And when I started like making my foothold with VR, it was like when I was like, I have this page, it exists, time to use it.
And it took you almost 10 years.
I was an avid watcher of people, not so much an avid creator for people.
Fair. Yeah. So what changed? What made you want to give it a go? Like seriously?
The what if? Like, yeah, I had, you know, being in VR, you meet many friends, many people. Some of them were streamers. Sometimes I'd be like on their stream or whatever when things are going, and it was just like another moment of like, maybe you should try. And I tried. It was, you know, rough at first because my computer could barely handle VR, and adding streaming on top of that meant that like to load a world that was 100 megs would be like 10 to 15 minutes of waiting in a loading screen. But that resulted in a lot of my streams being talking with chat. And I find that a lot of people that show up in my streams in the chat or lurking, they had me like on as background noise as to what they were doing, or they were just there to listen in and vibe. And I guess that was a plus in having a potato PC. And eventually I was able to gradually upgrade and, properly experience VR a little better, and, but kept the vibe.
Gotcha. Okay. And so you said it was the what if that ultimately led you to giving streaming a try. Yeah. So I guess what exactly did you have any expectations? I mean, again, you'd been doing this like on other sites, but did you have any specific expectations, or was this just like an experiment for you?
It was more so an experiment. I didn't have any expectation of like, I didn't expect, folks would want to like come around and hang out, specifically like to hang out and just chill or vibe with me. I just was like, I want to see what happens, and if it doesn't take off, then I tried. And it's been, sorry, I keep moving my hand to where my base station can't see it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to try, and if it turns out that people like what I do, then maybe I'll keep going. And here I am now.
Yeah, I think that's the right kind of mindset to have when you're going into streaming. It's not good to go into it, expecting things to just kind of pop off immediately. Sometimes people get lucky. Sometimes people get lucky, but
No, I was not expecting pop-offs. I was expecting like at most five folks who were friends to be like hanging out and doing the thing, shooting the stuff, playing whatever game or nonsense. But then we're here now, and I'm still dancing every now and then in front of that camera, playing with friends. Chill out Sundays, which is what I started doing, where it's just going to like a world and letting friends come by, hang out, which has been really fun to do in that Valhalla world. So that's where it's been the last couple times.
Yeah, I know all about that, cause like you're hanging out in that world, and then you raided me last Sunday while I was playing.
Yep.
Yeah, so I appreciate
Kept
that, by the
vibe
way.
Going, yep.
Yeah, the same Valhalla vibe. Hell yeah, I love that game. But yeah.
Good game.
It's a really good game. Yeah, it is. I know, like I'm totally taking a hit for playing it though, but like it's a good game. I hope people are enjoying it. Yeah. But anyway, were you ever like scared or like had stage fright for like dancing?
Oh, constantly, every day. Every day.
Yeah, I feel that.
Every single day. Every moment before that music starts, even after. The head's racing. Did I do okay? If I messed up somewhere, did they see me trip? Always. Always.
Yeah.
My mind's always racing, especially when I'm stage performing somewhere. My heart is beating out of my chest, and then music starts, and then it's over.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. That's kind of how it rolls. That's just kind of how it is. Music has a way of just taking you somewhere different. It has a way of calming and just kind of bringing you to a different plane of existence. It's very, very. Music is magical. So magical. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I get you. And like I think it's important to like state that like every time you hit the go live button, it's like it's very worrisome for you, because like for me, my streams are not particularly stressful, but like when I'm doing the podcast is always just like it's always like, oh, I gotta start like, but after like I'm in it, it's fine. I'm fine. Because I'm just having a conversation. It's nice. It's nice, and I really like. I love I love like how like the energy kind of bounces back and forth, and that it kind of like, it's nice. It's nice. But I totally get it. I think every streamer kind of gets that kind of little bit of fear when they're like they're trying something that maybe they know that it could be good, but they're very nervous about doing it. Kind of thing. Even if they're very, very like experienced, like there's still that little bit of like butterfly, like in your heart and stuff. I like, but we do it. We do it. So why in the world is someone as introverted as you out here on Twitch dancing for people? How does that happen? How does that work?
How does that me? What made me turn a camera towards my own face?
Yes.
And do things.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to I love sharing things I like with you, and I like to dance, and that's one of the things I like to share. And if I'm able to share that now, like especially now lately, really like getting into it more. And it's just one of those things. Like I want to have fun, and I want other people to have fun. Like this is something that's happened like very recently. I have found out from many people over the last like few weeks that like they always watch my stuff. They love when I post. Some of them have started dancing in VR because of like seeing me do it. The friends I've made like also like just kind of in my corner, being so very supportive. It's it just means a lot, and I want to keep doing that. Like, I can't explain the feeling of being in a room of like a bunch of creators and hearing someone go, I am in a room with one of my biggest inspirations for dancing right now. I don't know how to feel. And then me hearing that and not knowing they're talking about me until they specifically like point out like that it's me that they're talking about, and how I was that link that made them start dancing or get into VR or create their own model or something like that. And it just feels good.
Feels good to impact people's lives and bring people joy by sharing something about yourself that you genuinely love, and then for them to appreciate it in return. I get that.
Sorry.
No, you're all right. But yeah, I think personally, I think that's why I think that's why anyone who wants to stream, that's why they should get into streaming. They should, I think, in my opinion at least, they should get into streaming because there's something about themselves that they like and that they want to share with other people. They believe they have something of value to offer to people that, some people may not even have thought of, or maybe some people have thought of it, but maybe they can share it in a completely different way. And I think that's why people should start streaming. That's why I started streaming. Like I was convinced that I had something that I wanted to share with people, and just like you started streaming because you believe in like you love dancing, you love hanging out with your friends, and you wanted to be able to share that aspect of like who you are and your passions with people, like your artwork, and obviously your dancing, because like dancing is art too. So I think that's really, really awesome. I think it's a great reason to start streaming. And a really, really like quality reason too. And like honestly, it's true. Like about people complimenting you and stuff. Like I mean, like Zen, like you are very much like a very, very high quality dancer. Like you are one of the not the minority, but the one of the top people that I know, who are so good at dancing. You're so talented. You put so much passion and heart into what you do. It's really awesome to see. So again, like I said, I have so much respect for you, because like you go the extra mile, and then you want to share that with people, and you inspire a lot of people. Clearly. Which is really great. And like, I get what you mean by being like, someone's saying that I inspired them. Oh yeah, that's like, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, but I get that too. Occasionally, probably not as much as you, but once in a while, someone will say, "Oh, it's Nepherti, the podcast girl," and it's just like, "Oh, cool, wow, that's cool. I'm glad that people can recognize me," but it doesn't happen very often. But with you, like, people are seeing what you do, they're seeing what you're creating, and I think a lot of people are like, they genuinely enjoy what you do. You post stuff on Twitter. Obviously, you do it on stream. Yeah, I think a lot of people are really vibing with it, which is really cool to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I just wonder, like, the mind gremlin just happens where I don't believe it sometimes, and then I'm always just reminded that no, it's true. Like, everyone around me like hammers it home constantly, and I'm always just like, but nah. And I have to remember that no, actually, it is a thing.
Yeah.
And I'm just happy for it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's normal to be happy about people enjoying the thing that you love. I think that's pretty great. Like, I'm always happy when people like actually like enjoy my podcasts, and for whatever reason they do, for whatever reason they show up, for whatever reason they watch. And somehow I'm at this is episode 27. So it's just like, I keep doing it, and people enjoy it, and I feel like I'm contributing something, and that feels great. It's like, that's what I want it to do. I didn't want to just be another cat girl, streamer, that occasionally dances and talks a lot of shit. I wanted to actually like do something. I wanted to actually create something that people can really value. I wanted to create value in people's lives. So, that's why I'm here. That's why you're here. It's and it's good to acknowledge that sometimes,
Yeah, I hear you completely.
Yeah.
So you still can talk shit from time to time.
Oh yeah, I do. I can't turn that off. I can't turn that off. That's just who I am. That's who I am. But like, whenever I do my when I do my podcast, that's when my 33% Seizo comes out. That's when that comes out. So like, I don't talk as much shit. I don't talk as much. I'm a very very proper, I like to make people feel comfortable, Yeah. But yeah, I totally get what you mean, and you should absolutely, acknowledge the fact that you're working really hard, and you're doing really great stuff. So, it's been really cool to like, get to know you and all that, because, again, you've done a lot, and like, I didn't know that you did all the things that you did until I found out more about you. And it's been really cool to just see how hard you work to accomplish and to achieve what it is that you want to do. It's just really cool to see. So, I think there was one more question I wanted to ask you about streaming. But I can't remember it right now. I can't remember off the top of my head, obviously. Not obviously, but I do this without a script, so it is what it is. So, let's jump into the thing that I've been putting off for the longest time, because I want to save it for the end for people who stuck here, who stuck with the whole podcast. We're going to talk about your love life, like we do with most of our guests.
Okay.
Yeah. So, are you single, Zen?
No, I am not.
Okay. Interesting. Cool. I had no idea, and I think that's by design. I think that's honestly by design, which is perfectly fine. So since you are not single, how long have you not been single for?
It's 2023 right now.
Yes.
13 years in October.
Wait, what? 13 years?
In October, yes. That would put it junior high school.
Wow. That's a new record. That is a new
We
record.
went to college and split, but we kept communications, we kept things together. And
Oh, okay. Wow. Damn. That's really cool. That's actually pretty awesome. That's pretty sick, actually. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Wow. 13 years. That's definitely a new record. I wonder if anyone will be able to beat that. But maybe one day. Maybe one day they will. But yeah. That's damn. All right. So I'm out of my element here because 13 years. I would be lucky if I can get like fucking one. I'd be lucky. But anyway. But anyway, so how's that gone? How has 13 years occurred? Like, give us the secret sauce. How has 13 years occurred for you?
well, a good chunk of that for both of us was spent mainly focusing on like our studies. So she went off to college and did her thing. I went off to different college and did my thing. She's still doing her thing. Very well. Proud of her, and I hope she keeps going because it's definitely a field for her, the field that she's in. But again, like, you know, college was like a good chunk of our years just kind of doing our thing. We still see each other from time to time. You know, we are a kind of short-ish travel distance away from each other. The hard part is lining up like a good time to visit. But yeah, that's been the thing. We let each other spend time to focus on like the passion thing, but kept in touch and kept things going. We see each other when we see each other, and maybe eventually when we find our bearings on both ends, we'll actually like find this place and do the thing.
Yeah.
But
So for now, you two are just both on you're both on your own kind of journeys, but you're supporting each other and you're just respecting each other's journey, I guess.
Mhm.
And is it because that what she does is just too time consuming, too strenuous? Is it just not the right time, or are you guys kind of like maybe trying to line something up with each other's goals and aspirations? Like, I guess what's keeping you apart in this particular case?
I'd say like a combination of all those things. Like, she's doing her thing in the city where she is. I'm doing mine where I am. She can't exactly be like, I'm gonna not be in the city where my job needs me to be to do the thing. Where meanwhile, my job requires me to be, you know, in office and doing the thing. So it's that's one factor, and it's just, you know, figuring out how to make it work. And if hurdles happen. At least that's how we've been treating it.
Mm-hmm. Have any hurdles happened?
Scheduling, definitely the scheduling hurdle of like, you know, what holidays coming up? Are we gonna be able to do a visit? Things like that. You know, certain things become hard to do when like we both have our own tethers pulling us every which way, but the way we want. Sometimes.
Yeah, I think there are a couple people who can relate to that. I think there are definitely people who can relate to that. But it definitely sounds like there's a level of emotional maturity between the both of you. Like you both understand and respect each other's goals and aspirations, and like you don't want to create any additional pressure, but you also don't want to be apart. You don't want to like not be involved with one another. You're just in a state where at the moment it's just not feasible for that to be the case in order to ultimately craft a future in which both of you can live comfortably and support each other in the way that you guys want to support each other. I would say that's a pretty good summary.
It pretty much sums it up. Yeah.
Okay.
Where it's one of those things where it's just I don't think either one of us is like ready in a capacity to do the thing, and so this is how we are at the moment. Life's hard.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Period. Life's hard, and unpredictable. So
absolutely. Yeah. But again, the fact that you two have been making it work for this long is, that is an accomplishment. It's, I wish it wasn't something to do that about, but it kind of is actually, in this day and age. So like, absolutely, like much respect to both of you for maintaining. And just continue to just be in a state where you two can support each other even while on your own diverting journeys. Does she know? Does she mind that you're like that you enjoy dancing? I mean, obviously, she must know everything about what you do. Like, furry life, dancing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I imagine she would. Because it would be weird if she didn't. After all this time, that'd be really weird.
It really would be.
Yeah. So I guess what would be considered ready in your case? Like, we can't speak for her, but for you, what would be quote unquote ready in your case?
I feel like I need to hit a point where at baseline I want to hit a point of financial stability, because as it is right now, I am almost constantly just like barely getting by, and I don't want to pull her into that like at all.
Reasonable, yeah. I get that.
I want to be stable. I want to at least have that.
Yeah, that is I know that so well, Zen. I know that so well. Like I have worked. I like getting that stability. I have given up a lot for the sake of having stability. I actually I had to like. I'm not going to get into that, but I understand what you mean by wanting stability, because I wanted to pursue other things creatively, but I saw that it was not going to go anywhere. I saw it was not going to get me to a point of stability that I could actually be comfortable living my life. So I actually sacrificed like pursuing that actively so that I could have and attempt to build some form of stability. I think stability is like, it's having that kind of like reassurance that like you can pay your bills and you don't have to really think about it is like the best feeling. It's like, it's such a great feeling.
Yeah.
I think that like being able to just pay your bills and not having to think about it is that is a feeling on par with no longer having debt.
Ooh, to have that feeling. To have that feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. I feel that. I know what it's like to be in your situation, like 100%. But like getting there, I can speak very, very like honestly about that. Like it's great. It's really, really great. Like I paid off all of I was able to pay off all of my college debt. And yeah, get my credit under control. It's like, I know that this is adult stuff. This is adult stuff, but you know, it's real life. It's like actual shit that people gotta think about. Especially when you want to have a relationship with someone that like you care about, like you want to legitimately bring them into your life in a way that they can feel as though they are supported, and that, you know, obviously they can support you and you can support them. It's kind of a mutual thing where you two are working together. That is probably above all of those other feelings. Be able to be with someone that you feel supported by, I think it goes above all of like those other feelings of like, you know, being stable, being out of debt. Being with the person you care about and you both can take care of each other without having to worry about anything. It's pretty high up, I would say.
A dream level.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a dream. I'd say it's attainable. It's certainly attainable. It'll take time, but I'm sure you can do it. Do it. I mean, honestly, like it took me a long time. So I get you. But in this case, what makes this person so special that you would hold on for 13 years?
I'm not sure how to answer that question. I don't know, it's just kind of one of those moments. I know, like, way back in high school, and it's probably, you know, been so long, but it's just one of those, like, it just clicks type of moments. And she felt the same way, and it stems from there. I have honestly no idea how to answer this question.
I mean, you've known this person for a very long time. Like, there's clearly something about her that makes her different from anyone else. You know?
There wasn't anyone else. That's the thing. Like, we had so much in common, and we all had, like, she had this drive, and she's going after that drive, and again, this is hard to put into words. I don't know how to answer.
I see. Oh. I guess, what is your favorite thing? What is your favorite thing?
About her?
Yeah.
She can kick my ass. Like, one of the things anyway. No, she's really sweet. She can't kick my ass though. She can probably still kick my ass.
You're into that sort of thing, I see. Yeah, I get you.
Well, we
I see.
sparred in high school a little bit.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, that would definitely form a bond. Okay, cool. Go on.
No, that's it. That's as far as I'm gonna go.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna let that wander. I'm gonna let that mind think.
All right. That's fine. That is fine. I will take that. But okay, interesting. That's so interesting. So, if I had to guess, there was one thing that you appreciate about this individual. It's the fact that she shares the same level of drive that you do. She is laser focused on the thing that she feels most passionate about. You also are laser focused on the things that you're most passionate about, and there's a mutual understanding there between you two. And because of that, you two can work together. You can work through hardships. You can work through like scheduling issues, the hurdles that come with that, because you both understand each other. You both are on the same page, and I think that is, aside from the bond that you have just from knowing each other for that long and sparring with each other, I imagine there's a lot there. And I think that would be like just there's a mutual understanding that both of you know how hard life is and how much life is difficult, and to find someone who is genuinely understanding of that pursuit of a better life, That's hard to find. It's hard to find someone who can genuinely relate to you in that way and be willing to understand your creative pursuits, your career pursuits, even in some cases. I think it's hard to find someone who can truly understand you and be with you and stand with you, because a lot of people are not really looking for that sort of thing. They're kind of looking for like the thing right now, and they'll have the thing right now, and that's fine. And then if there's something goes wrong, and they're like, oh, I can't handle this, I'm gonna like peace out, because like you work too much, you don't sleep, you don't eat properly, but like we barely have any time together. Like I think it takes a special person to
all very specific jabs.
I wasn't. I mean, Zen, treat yourself better. But anyway.
I cook every now and then.
Hey, that's good. That's good. It's good.
Those were all very specific. just like. Oh, am I getting called out on stream again?
No, absolutely not. No, I'm a workaholic too. Like Zen, like don't get it twisted. Like I work really hard too. I do. I do. Like some people said I do too much, and you're probably right. But I do get sleep, and I do have time for myself. But like you go the extra mile. Like I do a lot of stuff. You do like twice as much as I do.
It's not, well.
It's pretty close, if not twice.
It's a lot. I someone actually like laid it out like in front of me just how much I do. And when it's not listed in front of your face, you don't think about it. But then when someone lists it out, you're just like, oh, is that why I'm not sleeping well? Oh.
Yeah. That would be the reason. That would be, yeah. So, but to my original point, I think it's really, really difficult to find someone who genuinely can put up with that kind of lifestyle. And I think both of you know this. And aside from everything else that you guys have built on top of the foundation that you two have built over those years, I think you both understand, like, it's good that you two stay together because at least the other knows that they will understand if they have to work a little bit extra, or if they have to stay up a little bit later, or they can't be around for a specific thing because something out of the control is in the way, or they have a prior obligation. Mm-hmm. Like, I think it takes a special person to be able to do that, and I think you two understand that, which is why you stay together. If I had to guess.
Pretty good guess.
I mean, do you think it would be easy for you to find someone else who could like put up with you and everything that you do and that you pursue? Like,
put up with me with how I am from day to day? I don't think so. No.
Why do you say that? Like, okay, so why do you say that? Like, because I feel the same way.
How would you put up with someone jumping up and down, left, right, and center in the living room at 3 a.m?
I mean, as long as it's not like waking me up, That's what I think. As long as you're not like jumping on the bed, we're good.
Oh no, I have an empty living room. It's just all space.
Yeah. Which that I think that makes the most sense. But my point is, like, you feel that way about yourself, that like no one could put up with your shit. Like, I don't think most people could put up with me. Like, I do a lot, and I'm very busy, and I'm hard to get a hold of. But again, I genuinely think it just takes a special person to be able to understand that kind of lifestyle of like pursuing greatness, pursuing something of value, pursuing content creation, pursuing being a streamer. Do you think, I can ask you this, like, are you pursuing being a streamer, or are you pursuing being a dancer? Is there like pursuit there?
Being a dancer, what do you mean?
I mean, like to what degree will you be doing this? Like, how long do you think you'll be able to continue to do this sort of thing? And how to what degree will that affect your, like, your pursuit of being a streamer, like, you know, because it's part of your content that you make. So I guess how important is streaming to you with you know, keeping those things in mind?
I'm gonna throw streaming into the content creation bucket and say I do want to keep creating content. Like, that is a thing that I do want to keep doing. Do I have plans to be like, this is my thing now that I'm gonna try to shoot to be full-time that? No. Like, I'm always going to expect to be working full-time. I'm going to always expect to be playing the balancing act. I have no real direct plans to try and make this like a full-time endeavor. Mainly because I just don't know how I would even pursue that.
Most don't.
And
believe it or
so,
not. Most don't. It just kind of happens.
So as it stands,
really, like they just really love what they do when it happens. Yeah.
It's just going to continue to be my hobby that I'm sharing with the people that like it or don't. Some people don't. But yeah, no, I don't have any immediate like resolutions to be like, I'm going to become a full-time X. Like, no, I'm going to keep working my full-time job. This is going to be the thing on the side. And you know, maybe if something happens and that becomes an opportunity in the future, who knows? It's hard to say. I can't predict the future. I'm not psychic. But that's where I am. I don't expect for this to be a full-time venture. I expect it to continue to be. I expect content creation to continue to be a part of what I do for as long as I can, which is hopefully for quite a while. Yeah, as long as I don't hurt myself too much.
Yeah. Because you've hurt yourself in the past, so yeah, you gotta make sure you don't overdo it. So you can keep doing this for a long time. Yeah.
There's some scuff marks here and there on the wall. Yeah, some paint chipped here and there from punching myself in the face. It's all good. We're good.
I mean, you gotta give yourself a little bit more credit though, because like we like you said, we're wearing a fucking toaster on our faces.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard not to like
I don't
punch
know if
yourself
you've
in the
noticed.
face. Yeah.
You have no idea how many times I've punched myself in the face with this Last Dance.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. It's a long dance. I know there's some repeats. There's obviously some loops in the routine, but you know, it's very long.
It's 3.5 minutes of flailing.
Yeah.
Man, does it hurt?
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah. So I do have like one or two more questions about like the kind of the romantic part of your life. So like, I mean, you've been with this person since high school, so I imagine you probably haven't thought of like what exactly like you value in a partner. Or maybe you do. Maybe you have an idea of what that is to you. But like, what would be like the top thing that you would value in a partner?
Like I might be having a hard time understanding this question.
Oh, okay. I can try to reword it, or you can try to answer all the same.
I don't know. We have a very like upfront understanding of each other's boundaries, I think.
Okay.
Which again, I guess falls under the understanding as like a baseline.
Yeah, it sounds like communication. I would like put that under the communication bucket. You two know how to communicate each other and thus understand each other because you tell each other the things that are not that may be working, that may not be working, and there's just a general understanding of each other's intentions and goals. So you value. It sounds like you value communication, and then understanding is like a subset of that.
Yeah.
Cool. It's very fun. Like whenever I ask people that question, which I usually do on my podcast, most people say communication. Communication is typically the answer for most people, because I think a lot of like I'm fortunate enough to know like really smart, talented people like yourself. So like because like, I think because I know these people.
You think I'm smart?
I mean, creativity does require a level of intelligence. Like let's not kid ourselves here. Like you need to be able to know your limits and apply yourself to learn how to teach yourself these tools, which you have. You taught yourself a lot of different new things. Like even stuff with like the IK, like finagling with things like that. Like you're smart. Yeah. So let's just be real here. So, yeah. But I know so many people like this, and like I think it's really telling that people like communication. And I think communication and being able to understand what the other is saying and understanding like how the other person feels, understanding like what they may be going through, or like what for them to listen to you and vice versa. Like I think that's like the crux of every successful relationship. Doesn't matter if it's long distance or not. If there's no communication, there is no relationship, or it's going to struggle a lot. In my opinion, at least.
Yeah.
But what do I know? I've
talk.
Yeah. When I'm just a VTuber who doesn't know anything about those sorts of things.
You seem knowledgeable on it.
Oh, that's because I'm the embodiment of greed. I have to know these things, and I observe people, so I have to know more about them.
Fair.
Yeah. So it's because of who I am that I am entitled to this level of knowledge and insight, despite me being single, cat on the internet essentially. Oh man, yeah, that'll never get old. But I like it. I'm having a good time. I'm having a really a good time. So. I want to know, and this we're kind of coming to the end of our chit chat here, so we'll be wrapping up. But I want to know, where would you like to be in 2 years? Where would you like to be in 2 years?
In 2 years, if I'm still at where I'm working, I eventually would like to move from QA to like somewhere in art design. Maybe once I work on my skill set.
Anything else?
I do want to dabble into gaming. So like career wise, like developing for games and stuff. But like outside of that, if 2 years down the line I'm continuing the dancing thing and tech has grown to a point where like it's now just more viable, I just want to be that bridge, be a part of that bridge to get more people into doing things they like. Sorry, brain got distracted. Again, and just doing the thing. Do the thing. I want to be able to say that I did the thing and then still doing the thing. And dancing is my thing.
Okay, I like that. That's a very good answer. And let me see. If you had any sort of like encouragement, any sort of wise words to leave people with this evening, what would you want to tell people? It could be anything. It could be about anything that you'd want to like, something that you have gone through, that you can kind of like leave with the viewers.
I got two. The first one, it doesn't stop at 30. that's my first one. 30 is not the finish line. You don't have to have all your shit together at 30. I don't even have my shit together and I'm 30. Though it seems like everyone is telling you, like, by this age you gotta have like this, and that. It's fine if you don't. And second, find the thing that makes you happy. And if it makes you happy, it'll probably make someone else happy. And that's contagious.
That sounds like a really, really good answer. I can appreciate that, and that's a great note to leave off on, I would say. So, fantastic. Yeah, great answer. And I'm also going to be asking you a couple of extra questions in the post portion that will be up on Patreon. But before we get to that, where can people find you?
So it's a little tricky, because if you search up Xenstroke like anywhere, you'll find me. Though specifically on Twitter, you'll find one of my three pages. You'll find my art one, my other art one, and if you want specifically my VR stuff, you want VR_Zen. That's what I use for all of my VR dancing stuff and related things on Twitter. You can probably still find it by searching Xenstroke. It's just that's the only place that is tricky to find what you're looking for. But everywhere else, from TikTok, YouTube, I'm on Blue Sky now, Twitch, it's Xenstroke. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. I seem to be readily the only person who uses this name whenever I create an account anywhere.
One could be so fortunate to not have to put an extra I after their name, like yours truly. One could be so fortunate. Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate that I'm able to not need to add numbers or symbols.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it does kind of work for me. Like, I can actually justify the extra I very easily, but I prefer to not have to.
Right, yeah.
But anyway, thanks for letting us know. I think that's, I want people to be able to find you. So, That was really, really awesome. So, where people can find me. If you'd like to find me, I mean, obviously, if you're watching this, you're already on YouTube, so thank you so much for being here.
I would hope they found you if they're watching you right now.
Yeah, I would hope so, yeah. And if you're watching this live, then you already found me on Twitch, so congratulations. But if you're watching on Twitch right now, you would like to find me on YouTube, it is, you can search for me at Nepherti with one I. And if you'd like to find me on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. And also...
I'm never calling it X.
Yeah. I'm always going to call it Twitter, too. So if you want to find me, there, you can find me at Nepherti with two I's. You can find me there. And if you want to find more information about the podcast, if you want to find podcast updates about who's going to be on it, and you just want to have a very concise list of all the teasing and all the stuff that's announced, you can find the account for the podcast at Sweet Talking Pod. You can search for that on Twitter, and you can get all of the updates for that. Yeah, and of course, I mean, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can find me on Twitch at Nepherti with two I's. So there you go. That's how you can find me. And also, if you want to support my content, if you enjoy what I do as a content creator and you'd like to help me to do more, you can always check out my Patreon. That's patreon.com/Nepherti. And, that's a great way. You can see all the information there of what you're doing, how you're helping. And, that's an option for you if you'd like to help support me, since I'm not affiliate on Twitch. And all of my videos get demonetized, or I can't really join the ad program on YouTube anyway, because all my stuff gets copyrighted. So, yeah, that's another way for you to do that if that's something you're interested in. But anyway, I want to say thank you so much to Zen for being on my podcast this evening. As I said before, there will be I will be asking Zen some additional questions. Not too many, but a few other ones. In the post content, which will be available on my Patreon. If you subscribe to my Patreon, you get access to the post content that people who are here right now already get to see. But obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube now, you'd have to join the Patreon to get the access to this content. And I've started producing these over time, so whenever you join, there should be a number of options, a number of videos and post content for you to enjoy if you really like what I do as a podcaster and as a content creator. But once again, Zen, thank you so much for being on the podcast. It was a real joy to have you on, honestly. There was a lot that I already knew about you, but there were like little like itty bitty things that I think were really, really insightful for not only myself, but I think a lot of people who have been tuning in live and also for the podcast. So I want to thank you very, very much for taking the time to be on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah,
I appreciate the willingness to share your time with me.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. I'm again, like, people don't seem to understand this. Like, you are helping me create content, so because of that, I am grateful to you for helping me to do what I do. So I absolutely have to give credit where credit is due. So yeah, you gave your time to me, and hopefully I've helped you have a comfortable experience on the podcast. Well, would you say it was comfortable? Would you say that you had a good time?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, conversations were nice.
Nice, cool. I'm always glad to hear that. All right, so with that said, we are going to wrap things up for the podcast. So I want to thank you all so much on YouTube for tuning in. Thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate you all so much for supporting my content. This is going to be out months into the future, so I'm sure many things may have changed by the time the future comes around, but I certainly hope that you still enjoy it. Zen, are you okay?
I'm okay.
Okay, cool. I certainly hope that you've enjoyed tonight's podcast. I hope that you continue to support my content, and even if you can't support on Patreon, liking, commenting, and sharing with people that you know would also be super cool. Following me on Twitch is also a great option. Follow me on Twitter, like please. If you have Twitter still, please follow me on Twitter. I do tweet things. I do tweet original and retweet some stuff. So follow me there. Also follow the update account for the podcast if you want updates when new guests are coming on. So I'd really appreciate that. Again, I don't need financial support, but anyone who does really makes a difference. It allows me to make the content that I want to create. But even then, I'm just so grateful that you sat through all of this. So I certainly hope that you come again for another episode of the Sweet Talking Podcast with your host, Nepherti. And I've been with Xenstroke. And I certainly hope that we will see you again very soon for the next episode of the Sweet Talking Podcast. So until then, take care of yourselves. You never know who may be in a bad way. So be kind to each other, and I'll see you all again next time. Until then, bye-bye.